And we are live at Hamilton High School for the latest installment of one of the best rivalries in the state of Arizona. The Chandler Wolves, 4-1 on the season, go down the road on Arizona Avenue, and they will take on the home team tonight, the Hamilton Huskies, fresh off one of the most impressive and statement wins of the season, knocking off the Mountain Point Pride, the defending champions, 30-10. My name is Jared Cohen. We'll be bringing you the play-by-play here on Sports360AZ.com. Joined to me tonight, Chris Cartman of ASUDevils.com and Rivals.com. And Chris, this has been for a long time one of the most exciting games in the state of Arizona, and it just got that much more exciting last season when Chandler finally got over that hump and knocked off the Huskies for the first time in 17 tries.
Yeah, it seems like a storyline that just keeps building, Jared, and for a lot of years it wasn't really a true rivalry until that happened because it was so one-sided. But now it looks like it's emerging into that. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. There's a lot of fascinating storylines with this game, as you know.
And one of the biggest storylines, you look at as we will pause for the national anthem as we'll take it down to the field. So the national anthem will probably be coming up here soon, shortly, Chris. But let's now talk about one of the main storylines of this game is the fact that Hamilton increased their home winning streak here to 64 in a row in that 30-10 win over Mountain Point last week. 64 in a row, that's over a decade worth of home wins. Just one of the many reasons why this has been one of the premier programs in the state for so long.
These people hardly remember what it's like to lose in their home environment. There's been some losses elsewhere. A state championship game a couple years ago where they had a pretty poor performance. But as far as a home environment, the type of crowd that you get at Hamilton, it's hard to match really locally in the Valley, and they feed off it. And this game in particular, the energy is just going to be sky high.
And if you think about it, for one, James Sosinski, the starting quarterback of Hamilton, he was 7 or 8 years old the last time Hamilton lost a home game. So let's now take it down to the field as we'll hear the national anthem performed tonight by the Hamilton Marching Band. So there's the Hamilton Marching Band with the national anthem. Chris, now let's talk about tonight's game. And it's going to come down to two major factors for both teams, starting with the Hamilton Huskies. They're going to need to declare the running game early and often, which is what they did in the second half of the matchup between these two teams that got them to the state championship game last year.
Yeah, they have to be balanced on offense, Jared. And we saw Mountain Point run the football all over the place against Chandler. That was really the key point in the game. If Hamilton isn't able to establish the run early, look for the box to get loaded up by Chandler. They'll be able to, attack the quarterback. And if they're not able to run the football, at a minimum, they're going to have to try to open it up via their passing game with James Sasinski throwing the ball down the field. They have some guys who can do that, but they need offensive balance to be successful.
Now you go to the Chandler side of the football, and they've got explosive athletes all over the field. They've got some solid players in the trenches, but when they're going well is when they're limiting the mistakes via penalty or turnovers. When they're limiting those, they're at their best, and they're nearly almost impossible to beat.
What you see with a lot of these more athletic teams is they have so many cutbacks or misdirection plays athletically. It sets your offensive line up to get penalties and things of that nature. So if you can limit those, avoid those, and sustain drives, because those are drive killers. If you're able to sustain drives by not having those, they're going to be in good position with the capability of their skill players and a quarterback who can really extend plays when things break down in Perkins.
And Bryce Perkins, a quarterback committed to Arizona State. Chris follows Arizona State very closely, whether it be recruiting or what's on the field on Saturdays. So he'll have great insight here tonight as we watch this game and as it unfolds. Hamilton has won the toss, and they've elected to receive. They'll be going left to right as you're watching it on your computer, your phone, or however you're taking us in here on sports360az.com. Special thanks to the crew here, the Chandler High School CTE students and teachers putting on this broadcast here tonight so we could take in this battle for Arizona Avenue, the 2014 version. And if it's anything like the 2013 version, Chris, we should have a really exciting night on our hands.
Looking forward to it. And for this opening kickoff, let's see what Hamilton can do. Their special teams has been a deciding factor in both of the two most recent games. In fact, if they didn't have great special teams effort, they might not be sitting where they're at right now, record-wise and in the standings. So let's see what happens here on this kickoff.
Daniel Lovitz to kick it away for Chandler. Chandler wearing their blue helmets with the white jerseys and black pants. Hamilton sporting maroon jerseys with black helmets and black pants. And we're underway for the 2014 battle for Arizona Avenue, and it goes out of bounds on the kickoff. It'll be a penalty, so Hamilton will start off with some solid field position.
They're trying to put it in the corner there. They're 1 yard shy of getting it into the end zone. So Hamilton will have pretty decent starting position.
It'll start them at the 35-yard line where senior quarterback James Sasinski will take over. 6'7", the tallest quarterback in the state. And he's really proven some stuff to us this year. Very underrated passer and does a very good job of managing this offense.
Well, he's a pretty good athlete for a guy his size. He's a two-sport guy. He's good at basketball, has good feet. He's active, and he can see over everyone. So he's going to have a solid performance here.
So we got three to the right, one man in motion for the Huskies. And they'll swing it out into the flats. That's Kyler Burke touching the ball first. He'll gain about 2 yards before he's driven out of bounds. There is a flag on the play. But that's a guy, Kyler Burke, who the Huskies will get the ball to him any way that they can because he's one of their top playmakers.
That's just a little bubble screen out there with receiver blocking in front for him. He had to make a guy miss. He didn't get it there.
And there was a penalty on the play. I wasn't quite we'll see what the penalty is.
It was like a hold.
And it's holding on the offense. That'll move them back 10 yards. We'll replay first down.
Can't start out by getting a holding penalty on the first play. It limits what you can do with your playbook, and you want to get some momentum going because really a lot of these teams script some of their early action.
And especially a team like Hamilton that wants to declare the run game early and often. 1st and 20 almost puts them out of reach of running, at least on first down. So James Sasinski will now have 3 backs, and they'll shift into dual backs in the backfield. That ball's handed off, going around the right edge, has a step, And that is Kyler Burke once again, who gains maybe a yard or two on the play.
We're going to try to really creatively run the ball. I think you're going to see a lot of motions, end arounds, jet sweeps, things of that nature, because between the tackles has been a struggle to this point. So you'll see, like on that play, they had a heavier personnel group, a lot of guys in the backfield.
Looks like Anthony Hale was one of the Wolves that was in position to make that stop. Gain of 3 on the play makes it 2nd and 17 here on the opening drive of the game for Hamilton. Soskinski will have 2 to his left, 1 to his right with a single back. And he's back to throw. 3-step drop, feeling the pressure, middle of the field, broken up, nice play in the middle of the field. Looks like some of the Hamilton people wanted a flag, but the ball was intended for Brandon Krasilic.
Yeah, he had to get the ball out really quick there and just kind of underthrew it a little bit. I think if he had let him a little bit more, that could have been a big play.
DJ Ware might have been one of the guys involved to break up that pass. But that'll bring up now a 3rd and 17, and Chandler now with an opportunity to get a big 3 and out on the first defensive possession of the game for them. Out of the shotgun is Sosinski once again. He'll have 1 lone back to his left. Back to throw, looking middle of the field again. He'll air it up, downfield, and it's almost intercepted. Good coverage that time downfield by the Chandler Wolves. No flag on the play. It'll bring up 4th down.
You know what was really impressive about that play, Jared, is Kyler Burke did a good job of becoming a defensive player. Once the ball was underthrown and he realized he had no chance at it, he did a good job of getting his hands around to prevent it from being an interception.
Dre Mills was the one that almost came down with that interception. And now the back to punt, Brandon Krasilic. Now watch this kid punt the ball, Chris. This is their wide receiver, but he's also big for them on special teams, and he'll boot it. And a nice, high, deep punt. Terrell Flanagan back to receive it at the 25. Has a block from Danny Mahan. Sheds 1 tackler. A flag is down, and now he's tackled back at the 25. We'll see what the flag is.
They'll probably get a hold there. He did a good job of shielding him so that the rest of his coverage team can get down the field, but that was quite a boot, so it took a while for them to get down there.
Yeah, really good-looking punter is Brandon Krasilic. He's also the one that'll handle their kickoffs, but he brings versatility to a new level.
They actually called it a face mask on Hamilton on the tackle, which is that's a big play because they had it well covered.
And we mentioned at the top of the broadcast that one of the keys for Chandler was to limit the mistakes via the turnover or the penalty, but so far it's Hamilton with 2 penalties and 2 big ones at that. So now Chandler will start 1st and 10 from their own 45-yard line behind quarterback Bryce Perkins. And man, does he have some weapons at his disposal. Chase Lucas standing next to him at his right with Harry and Taylor on the outside. Rolling out is Perkins, has a lot of time. Looking downfield, and he's going to air it deep. Has N'Keal Harry downfield, makes the catch. Inside the 5-yard line, N'Keal Harry. Welcome to the Battle of AZ Avenue, N'Keal Harry, the transfer to the Wolves this season.
He actually had 2 players down the field wide open. I thought he was going to miss the play, honestly, because he had another guy on the far side who was just sitting there waving his hand like he was open all day. And then finally he makes the play to his intended target. If he had gone through his progression, he would have seen that earlier, but they still got a touchdown. Both guys behind the defense. Really poor coverage at the secondary level from Hamilton at safety.
Gain of 54, 1st and goal from the 1 for Perkins. Hands the ball off to Lucas, walks right in for a score. 2 plays and a touchdown for the Chandler Wolves on their first drive of the game. Talk about a statement.
Yeah, that was quite a play. I mean, I don't understand exactly how they let 2 guys get behind them. I think there was a coverage bust. The corner was playing in the flat. He let a guy get behind him. The safety came over to help that, and then that left Harry open for the big play. And then at that point, Hamilton was reeling, a 1-yard run.
So now Daniel Lubbock's in for the extra point. Snap is good, and the kick is through. So with 10:20 left in the opening quarter, the Chandler Wolves strike first. 2 plays, a 54-yard pitch and catch from Bryce Perkins to N'Keal Harry, and then a 1-yard touchdown to cap it off for running back the junior Chase Lucas. But boy, oh boy, you saw the explosion right there out of the Chandler Wolves in just 2 plays.
That's the way you want to start there, Jared, if you're Chandler.
And for Hamilton, you see a holding penalty that sets you back on offense, and then a face mask penalty on special teams, then 2 plays and a score, they're going to have to regroup here in a hurry, or this one could get away from them almost too quickly.
Yeah, quick penalties is a bad way to start the game, especially when you need to play. They're very pro-style. They run a possession-based offense. It's some errors that you really just can't have at the outset.
So Daniel Lovett set to kick it away for the second time, and that one is up and returnable. Receiving it at the 5-yard line, has some blocks ahead of him. Across the 20, almost to the 30-yard line. On the return right there is Caleb Pitts, the junior. A nice return, decent field position to about the 40-yard line, or the Huskies.
There was one guy that he could have made miss there. It might have gone for a big play.
So as mentioned, on the first play of the game, Hamilton had a holding penalty that set them back to start. They'll want to start off better here this time around on first down. It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 27, not quite the 40, a little bit further back. Receivers split, one to the right, one to the left. They'll hand this ball off. That looks like Ari Johnson with the carry. Nope, that's Kyler Burke. Kyler Burke on the carry. He's touched the ball now 3 times in the first 2 possessions already.
That was a good defensive tackle there in space.
A 1-yard gain for Kyler Burke. Makes it 2nd and 9 from Hamilton's own 29. We're just underway here at Hamilton High School. 7-0 Wolves, just under 10 minutes left here in the first quarter. Sosinski under center. Quick throw to the outside. That's Brandon Krasilik, catches it on the quick snap. But the ball is out, and Chandler thinks they have it. He might have been down, and that's what the officials are saying that he was. And instead they're saying, is it an incomplete pass?
Looks like an incomplete pass.
That one was close. It looked like he might have taken a step with possession, but instead they're going to call it incomplete, intended for Brandon Krasilik.
Quick slant there, Jared. Defender was playing off coverage. I thought he had the ball, actually. That might have been a big break there for Hamilton. It's already been a bad start. That would have made it disastrous.
So with the incompletion, it'll be 3rd and 9. Hamilton trying to avoid a second straight 3-and-out. And Sosinski will have 2 to his left. The snap, the pressure, they run a screen, but it's sniffed out easily by the Wolves that time around. Nice play defensively.
Kyrie Woods
coming from the cornerback spot, making a nice play.
Yeah, he saw that all the way, came up, made a nice form tackle. Didn't try to deliver a blow. Wrapped them up properly.
And another 3-and-out for the Wolves on their first 2 possessions. 9 minutes left here in the opening quarter. Chandler has Flanagan and Mahan back to receive the kick. Brandon Krasilik, the punter, had a beautiful punt the first time around, but a face mask penalty got rid of that yardage. There's another decent punt. It's going to be hard to receive for Flanagan. He plays it and gets leveled. Big time hit right there by Rico Tipton, the junior.
Yeah, he might regret fielding that ball on one bounce. A lot of times guys like getting that bounce. They can come up. It was a low kick, so maybe he thought it was returnable. Tipton did a good job of getting off, getting downfield, and squaring them up.
And maybe that's the type of play that can maybe turn things around for Hamilton. It'll be 1st and 10 Wolves from their own 30-yard line. They ran 2 plays their last offensive possession for a score. It was capped off by a 1-yard touchdown for Chase Lucas. Justin Jan and Nikhil Harry, the 2 receivers, split out. They'll hand the ball off to Chase Lucas out of the backfield. Nowhere to go. Good job by the defensive line. 3 Huskies were in the area, led by Caleb Pert.
Yeah, Pert was really won his rep on that play, and they just mucked up the line of scrimmage. There really was nowhere to go.
So there's no gain on the play. 8.5 left in the first quarter. 7-0 Wolves will make it 2nd and 10. And Colby Taylor checks in. They'll now have 3 wide receivers set on this play, or 2 and a tight end. And they'll hand the ball again to Chase Lucas. He gets the edge around Pert, has running room. Tripped up across the 40 to about the 45. Nice gain on 2nd and 10 by Chase Lucas, who did great job showing off his speed around the edge.
That was just a straight zone blocking up front. Lucas saw that there was nobody in the C gap to the boundary side, decided to take it there, turned it upfield, and got a good gain out of it.
Enough for a 1st and 10 for the Wolves. 2 to the right of Perkins. In addition is Chase Lucas. He'll throw it downfield. That ball is too low, intended for Colby Taylor, the sophomore, the younger brother of both Kendall and Kerry Taylor, the former Sun Devil.
Yeah, he'll be the 3rd Pac-12 guy. Already has an offer from Arizona State as just a sophomore. He's going to be one of the big young stars in this state at the skill position in the next couple years.
And you look at this wide receiving core for Chandler as they now have 4 out there. All 4 of these guys could be #1 receivers for many other teams in this state.
Yeah, there's no question about it. 2nd and 10, they have to get a manageable 3rd down here. Look for something short underneath or a run inside.
And Perkins will keep it on his own read, then throw it out to Justin Jan to the sidelines, gets across out to the 40-yard line, which will be enough for another 1st down. Nice decision-making right there for Bryce Perkins.
Little play action. I think it caught Hamilton on its heels. Jan's been a big player for them to this point. He had several big catches in the first half against Mountain Point that were critical.
So another 1st and 10 now for the Chandler Wolves. And they'll hand the ball off to Chase Lucas. Finds a hole. Now he picks up some speed to the 30-yard line. Might be enough for another 1st down.
Great blocking inside. They dominated the line of scrimmage on the right side and at the center position. He had 2 lanes he could choose from.
And they're moving in a hurry here. Hand the ball off again to Lucas. Going to ride the hot hand. Has some blocks. Tries to break a tackle. Good shoestring tackle right there by Daniel Da Silva, who saves a big gain.
Same play, back-to-back. When teams go fast in that spread no huddle and they have a successful play, they like to do it right again. And that's exactly what they did there. That was that might have saved a 20 or 30-yard run, that tackle in space.
Yeah, Daniel Da Silva is a guy that's come in, taken over for Santana Sterling, who had a great career at the middle linebacker position for Hamilton. Da Silva also a running back, but they needed him more at linebacker, and he's played a big role for them in that role this season. Perkins back to throw, has a lot of time going through his progressions. Now flushed out, feeling the pressure. Gets away and gets the ball off to Lucas, who sheds a tackle, crosses the 15-yard line. The elusiveness of Bryce Perkins and the notion to get the ball to Lucas, and then Lucas's ability to break tackles makes something out of nothing.
You know who he looked like there is another former Chandler quarterback, Brett Hunley. Extended the play. Did a really good job, extended the play. They found the guy. They were trying to take a big shot.
So it'll be now 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. Bryce out of the flats, looking at the end zone, and a diving catch made by Justin Jan.
That's
touchdown, Wolves.
That's the best catch I've seen in this short season in Arizona at the high school level. Just a straight up sellout for that ball in the end zone, diving, great hands, and a great route behind it.
And Bryce Perkins moving this offense in an efficient manner, making things happen, and Justin Jan, his first catch of the game, goes for 6. And now Lovett's in for the extra point.
That 2nd and short play, Jared, they were looking for a big play down the field off play action. That's what a lot of teams like to do in 2nd and short. Outside of that play, I thought the drive was extremely fluid and smooth. They knew what they were doing conceptually, and they went fast and got Hamilton on its heels, reeling a little bit. And were able to convert on that touchdown with a great pitch and catch.
And another just fantastic drive from the Wolves.
Chandler's really got some good momentum to start this game. Hamilton's going to need to get some sort of a sustained drive because it's in danger right now of having things really turn against it if it can't get some offense going.
And again, we get back to the key for Hamilton at the top of the broadcast is declaring the run, something they have not been able to do yet, and because of it, 2 3-and-outs on offense to start things off, and their defense having trouble getting pressure on the quarterback. And even when they do, Perkins able to make stuff happen.
Yeah, Hamilton has just been too one-dimensional at this point. It's either lateral runs where Chandler has a lot of speed, so they're able to shut down some of that stuff on the perimeter if they stay gap sound, and then a lot of short to intermediate throws. That stuff's been a little bit open, but it's going to be hard to sustain drives that way.
Lubitz's kick is high and playable for Pitts, who catches the ball, picks up some speed, and then hit hard at the 25. He had a lot of good speed right there. But at least a decent return out to the 25-yard line. Will Sosinski and the Huskies will take over 1st and 10. And that looks like Luciano Avila, not Pitts, was the one that returned that kick out to about the 27-yard line. So it'll be 2 to the right, 1 to the left of Sosinski with the lone running back. And they'll hand the ball off to him. And a nice push from the defensive line right there.
They just reset the line of scrimmage. Good pad level by Chandler up front defensively. They just reset the line of scrimmage, and where the ball was designed to go on the run play, just that gap wasn't there.
Junior Rico Tipton was the one they handed the ball off to. Try to get him to power through in between the tackles.
So they're going with the odd front here. So it's 30-40. 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers are playing zone underneath.
And a bubble screen out to Pitts, who is first big gain of the game for the Huskies. Gets out for 1st down. A gain of about 14 on the play, the first big play of the game for the Huskies offense.
Yeah, they needed that. He just kind of snaked through. There were guys like all in the area, and he managed to tiptoe his way to get that 1st down.
And we talk about the Chandler receivers, good size from the Husky receivers as well. Pitts and Krasilik both have some good size. They got the ball to Pitts that time around. Trips to the right of Sosinski. Running the option. Get the ball out to Tipton. Crosses the 40. Good job cutting off the edge, but some missed tackles. A crew of Wolves will wrap them up at about the 50-yard line. But another good gain on the option right there for the Huskies. They've got something rolling.
Kyler Burke was key on that play. It's not just catching the ball and running routes. He was a blocker out in front, and he really sustained it for about 3 or 4 seconds, which enabled that gain of about 8 yards.
And the Chandler Wolves are an interesting story on defense. They lose 9 starters, who most of which are playing Division I football right now, especially on the defensive line. But they've had guys that have come in and have stepped up well. That's a handoff right there. Powers enough for a 1st down. Nice run right there that time by Ari Johnson, the senior, who needed 2, got about 3, and a fresh set of downs for the Huskies.
J.W. Windsor held him up a little bit there for some other guys to make the play, but they moved the chains.
And J.W. Windsor, as mentioned, the guys replacing important bodies on this defense. J.W. Windsor is one of them. Cruz Flores playing at NAU and Jordan Hoyt playing at UC Davis were huge parts of this defense last year, and Windsor has done a good job in their place. They'll hand the ball off again. It's Johnson, and a solid run on 1st down for about 5 yards.
Yeah, good yards after contact. They met him, the linebackers met him at about 2 yards, and he ended up getting 5 on the play because he dragged several players with him. Chief among them was Dre Mills, who actually came up from a safety position.
The Huskies love these long, methodical drives. They could totally suck the air out of you, and they're in the midst of one right now, and it couldn't come at a better time for them. 3.5 minutes left in the opening quarter. A power formation set. That ball is handed off to Kyler Burke. Has some space, gets out to the 30-yard line. Gain of 12 on the play for Kyler Burke, and another Husky 1st down.
Nice power run. Hamilton pulled its left guard, Alex Bellatani. He got out there in front and led the way. That's probably the best run play by design and execution that we've seen to this point from Hamilton.
So it'll be 1st and 10 Huskies from the 30-yard line, down 14-0 here with 3 minutes left in the opening quarter. Sosinski running the option, pitches it out to Tipton, gets the edge, now has some space, now to the sideline, up the sidelines, more than enough for a 1st down to about the 15-yard line. Great blockers ahead Well-executed option run from Sosinski to Tipton.
Another play. What we're seeing on this drive, Jared, is they're doing a great job of getting blocking on the perimeter from their skill players. That time it was Rashad Williams out in space who just sustained his block, and it allowed that play to go from maybe what would have been a 7 or 8 yard gain to about a 15-yard gain.
And the players are moving back. It looks like a holding call on the Huskies. So a nice run for nothing.
Yeah, I didn't
and
see
they're moving
that.
back 10 yards.
I don't think that hold was needed on the play. It wasn't in the area of the ball carrier.
And penalties so far against Hamilton have been a storyline in this game. They've shot themselves in the foot a couple times now. And in the midst of their best drive yet, a holding penalty sets them back. So it'll be 1st and 14 from the Chandler 34-yard line, under 3 minutes in the opening quarter. The 6'7" Sosinski under center. He's going to lob it up. He's got Krasilik, who has a step, dives, but can't make the play.
Just a little fade route. He beat the guy at the line of scrimmage, and the ball was just barely overthrown. That's a tough throw to make. I felt like he put enough air under it, but probably just didn't have it timed right.
DJ Ware as well as Jeray Mills were in on the coverage, but Krasilik had a step in the defensive backfield for Chandler, just slightly overthrown. 2nd and 14 now for the Huskies. And he'll have trips to the right, running the option. And it's fumbled. Ari Johnson misplays it, and he doesn't fall on it. That's a live ball, and the Wolves have it. Turnover on the Huskies, and it'll be 1st and 10 Wolves from the 44-yard line of Chandler, excuse me.
Ari Johnson took his eye off the ball twice there. First on the pitch, he was looking upfield to see where he wanted to go with it. And then as the ball was on the ground, he took his eye off it to look up to see who was coming after him. And it was a really nice job by Jeray Mills to fall on the ball.
And what was a fantastic drive rolling for Hamilton, a holding penalty and then a turnover, makes it a change of events very quickly, and now it's 1st and 10 Wolves from their own 43-yard line with a chance to go up 3 scores in the opening quarter. Perkins, play action. He's looking downfield. Nothing there. Keeps it himself. Gets some positive yardage. Another example of him making something out of nothing. Gains about 2 yards when there was nothing downfield. Call that nice coverage downfield for Hamilton.
That's one of the toughest things to stop, is a quarterback who can extend plays and then beat you with his feet after things have broken down downfield. There's not many teams in the state that have that sort of a capability at quarterback, and certainly not to the level that Chandler has in Perkins.
So he gets 3 yards on that scramble, and it'll be 2nd and 7. Shoot Lucas will have it this time. Trying to get the edge to the sidelines, gains a few yards on the play. Nice job by the Hamilton defensive front 7 to cut off the edge there for Chase Lucas, who can really pick up some speed if you give him the space.
A little bit of sweep action there, and Hamilton did a really good job of running laterally to the football, showcasing some of their athleticism on the perimeter.
He gains about 3 yards on that play, so it'll make it a manageable 3rd and 4 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. And it looks like a false start right there for the Wolves.
Yeah, that was a power run play, and they just got out early. They were excited to get to their spots.
The first penalty of the game for Chandler. It'll move him back to the 44-yard line. Makes it 3rd and 9 now.
It's tough because a 3rd and long, it limits your playbook. Now there's fewer things that you could do.
And Perkins will have 2 to his right, 1 to his left with Chase Lucas next to him. He's back to throw. A strike to N'Keal Harry. Enough for a first down, and he's still on his feet. Powers across the 45 to about the 43 into Hamilton territory. More than enough for a Chandler first down.
Great hitch by Harry. What he did is just ran a vertical, expanded the defensive back, and stopped very quickly on a dime. He's a big body receiver who also has pretty good speed and the ability to maneuver, and right at the sticks.
Second catch of the game for Harry. Had that big one on the opening drive, and there's another false start on the Wolves.
That was on their left tackle.
Left tackle Keola Daniels, the senior. It's the one that Brian Ramirez, the senior, that moved a little bit early. So he's 1st and 15. And they'll do a toss to Lucas. Has some blocks, gets through some defenders. Man, can he make some things happen when he is in space. And a solid gain on first down. Call it maybe a gain of 10 on 1st and 15.
Yeah, 11 personnel there, 1 back, 1 tight end. They ran it to the strong side. Chandler likes to spread you out to run the ball, and they did so effectively there.
Moving the chains now with under a minute left in the first quarter. Wolves on top 14-0. Perkins out of the shotgun in the spread with 2 to his left and 2 to his right. And Chase Lucas next to him in the backfield. And he's back to throw. Quick hitch. N'Keal Harry once again going up the sideline. Powers through to about the 25-yard line. Gain of about 15. Another first down for the Wolves.
Same thing there, Jared. Hamilton is playing off coverage, relaxed. They're worried about the verticality of Harry. And he's just stopping on that simple hitch concept. And the ball's coming out hot on a timing route from Perkins. And they're making that look easy right now.
So it's 1st and 10 from the 26. Hamilton's 26 at that. Wolves threatening to score once again, already up 14-0 in the opening quarter. Perkins back to throw, plenty of time. Down the middle of the field, and it's caught at about the 15-yard line. Caught by Colby Taylor, the sophomore. Short of a first down.
Curl route in space on the seam. Hamilton defender had a hard time reacting to it. The ball probably came out a split second late, but still a good pass. And the athleticism of Chandler on the perimeter gives you a lot of problems, especially with Perkins' ability to extend plays. I mean, those two things in concert is a big challenge in this game for Hamilton moving forward.
So that's the end of the first quarter, and it's been all Chandler Wolves here early. They lead it 14-0 and are driving to start the second quarter to try to make it a 3-score game. Your takeaway, Chris, from what we saw in that opening quarter?
So clearly the quarter was won by Chandler. Hamilton was sloppy with a couple penalties early on that were costly. The fumble after it had sustained a drive and looked to be headed towards scoring position. So in some respects they shot themselves in the foot, but then what Chandler's been able to do athletically with their perimeter players and a quarterback who really is a challenge for you because of his dual stress ability really has highlighted the game to this point.
And if you look down on the sidelines right now, the Hamilton Huskies have another quarterback warming up. That's their junior quarterback, the backup, Travis Lockhart. Now, he came in, I caught the Huskies playing against the Pinnacle Pioneers a few weeks ago, and they brought Lockhart in for one possession, and he led them on a scoring drive. He only played that one possession, but he's warming up on the sidelines right now for the Huskies. And James Osinski, only a couple completions on the first few drives of the game. It's been mostly on the ground with the yards they've been able to pick up.
Yeah, I wouldn't put anything really, though, on Sosinski to this point. He had maybe one errant throw, but Hamilton is hurting itself in other areas.
So to start the second quarter, Chandler now going left to right. Hand the ball off, and this time it's Rashad Williams. Oh, excuse me. That is Micah Reed Campos, the junior, with the carry that time around. Gains a few yards on the play.
No, I thought it was Rashad. Oh, no, yeah. That was a nice inside cut. Look, the play looked like it was stopped. He made a nice inside cut and got a few extra yards.
And that was enough for a first down. And for some reason, the officials haven't set up the chains yet. But nevertheless, they'll run a play to the end zone. Caught! Justin Jan! Perkins to Jan for the second time today. And you look at the scoreboard, 21-0 Chandler.
Two great catches, both in the end zone, and he had a third catch. They're struggling to contain that release from his alignment. And he's a mismatch opportunity. With his size and his ability to move, he's looking like quite a prospect in this game to this point.
Yeah, apparently UCLA has a lot of interest in Justin Jan, a team that came through the Valley a week ago. Extra point up and through. 11:33 left in the first half, and we have a 3-score lead for the Chandler Wolves, and the Husky fans in attendance are shocked. They have won 64 games in a row on this field, and that right now is in jeopardy here in the first half of this game, the Battle of Arizona Avenue, the 2014 version.
Yeah, Jan was really impressive there. He's just a young-looking guy physically, too. He's going to gain a lot more weight and size. Athletically, he's got everything that you're looking for. Seems to have a good sense about the game. At this point, 21-0. Second quarter just underway. And the way that Hamilton plays with a ball possession, pro-style offense, they're in a really, really dire situation. They need to have a sustained drive. They need to get points. And if they're not able to do that on this drive, this thing may start to slip away from them in a really big way.
So Lovett's getting set to kick it off. 11:33 left in this first half, and of all the things I expected from this game, a blowout was not one of them.
Well, yeah, we're talking about 64
in a row.
64 in a row here. These fans haven't seen a loss in this venue in 10 years, and they're down 21-0 to their rival early on. The crowd has been really kind of taken out of this game to some degree, and so this is turning into a situation where they're in major jeopardy.
And what does this say about the Division I level for high school football when you look at the fact that Mountain Point knocks off Chandler in an exciting game, then Mountain Point loses to Hamilton, and now Chandler, with the commanding lead over Hamilton, the three-headed monster at the top of Division I is beating each other up.
Yeah, there's a lot of parity. When some of the rankings came out in the last week, there was a lot of blowback. People were upset. But truth be told, having seen those three top teams in person, on any given day, it's going to be about execution and who does a good job of being assignment sound and not beating themselves, because these three teams are capable of all.
And a short kick, that's a live ball, and it's bobbled, and the Wolves think they have it, and they do. Misplayed short kick by Hamilton, can't come up with it, and the Wolves recover it on the Hamilton 30-yard line.
The wheels have just come off for this Huskies team. They've taken a massive punch, and their defense is going to have to try to do something right now to get them off the canvas, because they are really in trouble.
Anthony Clay, the one getting down the field to recover the kick. And so it'll be now 1st and 10.
You just can't let that happen. Special teams errors are very telling in big-time games like this, and there's just no excuse for not being able to get to the football there.
And now the Wolves with an opportunity to really go for the throat. Perkins, play action, looking downfield, has some pressure, flushed out, gets it, tries to get it to Lucas, tries to haul it in with one hand, but can't make the play and make it 2nd and 10.
He had Taylor open over the middle, didn't see him. Maybe he was looking at some of the pressure. It's hard to say, but they had a one-play touchdown if he would have just gotten rid of the football there on time.
And you look at the defensive front of Hamilton with Pert and Rand, but the Chandler offensive line doing a good job for the most part, keeping them out of the backfield. We have 2 to the left, along with Lucas to Perkins' left. And they'll throw it out in the flats to Taylor. He's got a step. Man, do you see some of the speed that he's capable of as he crosses the 20 to about the 15-yard line, 1st and 10.
He exploded in space, taking advantage of another perimeter block that was Harry out in front of him. Good job of attacking it rather than kind of getting lateral and wishy-washy with his feet.
So spreading them out. 2 to the left, 2 to the right of Perkins. 1st and 10 from the Hamilton 16. Perkins to throw to the outside. Flipped up short of the first down. And I think that's Justin Jan, the one that makes the catch. Morris Chroma with a nice tackle on the outside of Jan.
Good. Dropped his pad level, made a good tackle, flipped him over.
And a gain of about 6 on the play, which will make it 2nd down and about 4.
Lots of options they can go here, really spreading them out. 10 personnel, 2 by 2 at the receiver position. Perkins is telling his guys an audible call, it looks like.
And he'll hand the ball off to Lucas. Good job by the Hamilton defensive line right there, as it looks like it might have been possibly Caleb Pert.
Yeah, I couldn't tell who made the play there, but it was a good job of cutting down that outside contain.
But one of the best plays on the defensive side of the ball yet for Hamilton, pushes him back about 3 yards. So instead it'll be 3rd and 6. Wolves inside the 15. Perkins lobs it up, and it's caught in the back of the end zone. No, they're going to say he dropped it in the last moment. It was N'Keal Harry trying to come down with a nice catch.
It might have been a hold. It was a borderline hold on that. It was a nice little fade in the corner. Not a high percentage play, but one that Harry could take advantage of his size and strength on. Just couldn't bring it in.
And on 4th down, it looks like they'll bring in the kicking unit. As Daniel Lovitz will come in to kick what looks to be about a 30-yard field goal. Kick is up, and it is good. 30-yard field goal with 9:36 left in the first half, and it's a 24-0 lead for the Wolves.
Small moral victory there, holding them to a field goal. I mean, at a touchdown, you're looking at just an absolute bloodshed first half, and it's already bad enough as it is. Maybe that's something that they can kind of build on. What we're seeing right now is Coach Bellis of Hamilton has gathered his entire team on the sidelines. That's not something that you hardly ever see early in the second quarter of a game. I think Bellis realizes that this game is really in a precarious place, and he's trying to do anything that he can to gain purchase with his team to try to get them some energy injected back into what they're doing.
So 9:36 left. Still a lot of football left to play, but it's been all Chandler in this game thus far. And as you mentioned, if you want a moral victory or small victory, that stop right there forcing the field goal was one for Hamilton. But right now you're in a position where you need to get in the end zone. That's the victory at this point.
You have to play mistake-free football. You can't give up special teams, errors, multiple penalties. There's been just far too many mistakes against a talented team. You can't do it.
Another short kick. Kyler Burke plays it. He has a hole, and he's crossing the 50-yard line, down at the 45-yard line of the Wolves. Nice job right there for their main playmaker, Kyler Burke, and that gets the Husky fans to their feet.
Chandler didn't do a very good job of staying in their run lanes up front there. Good blocking out front. And it was a good vertical run. Again, you don't have to get too lateral. Work up and down. At high school level, too many guys make mistakes of trying to move towards the sideline.
So the Huskies will start their possession in Chandler territory. 1st and 10 at the Chandler 45. Rico Tipton will carry this one. Minimal gain, and I didn't mention that Sosinski no longer in the game at quarterback for the Wolves. It is Travis Lockhart, the junior.
My supposition there is that they may be looking for a little bit something different from an athletic component. Sosinski is definitely a pocket-style passer, and maybe they need a little bit more versatility. At a minimum, maybe it gives them an energetic uptick because they need something to get them some steam on the offensive end.
A gain of 1 on the play for Tipton. Lockhart throws it backwards. It's going to be a double pass. Has a man downfield, but it's underthrown and can't complete it.
They had it there.
They sure did.
I mean, he was 20 yards clear of anybody. The Chandler safety bit on the play, and the pass was just well underthrown. That's why it's not a quarterback making that throw.
And it looks like it might have been Jeray Mills, a name that we've called quite a bit early, was one of the guys that provided the pressure on the double pass that forced that ball to be underthrown.
Froelich was wide open.
Lockhart to throw, has some pressure, quick slant, incomplete. And that'll make it 4th down.
That was a really nice play of defending that slant route by Chandler.
Chip Hansen, the intended receiver, and that might force him to punt. And Krasilik will be back to punt.
That was DJ Ware defending that slant. Did a really good job of reacting to the play, getting his hands in there.
Danny Mahan back to receive the punt. Krasilik's kick is away, and a solid kick might be inside the 10-yard line, where the Wolves will take over on offense. Down 24-0 is Hamilton, and they're going to have to come up with a big stop on defense to turn this thing around.
So again, that's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. They get good field position to start that drive, right? 45-yard line, and then they go 3 and out, and they have to punt. They just can't get anything going as far as traction.
It'll be 1st and 10 Wolves from their own 12-yard line. One of the big positives has been Krasilik punting the football. I mean, he's done a great job. If you want to play the field position battle, it hasn't made a difference yet, but if he continues to do that, it could help with some sort of chip away of this score. Perkins throwing the flats. That's N'Keal Harry. He's got some space. No, that wasn't N'Keal Harry.
Taylor.
That was Taylor. Colby Taylor with a nice gain on 1st down.
He exploded through, taking advantage of 2 blocks on the perimeter. Chandler's receivers have done a tremendous job of blocking out front. It's
something that goes unnoticed.
Something that goes so unnoticed, but it's so instrumental in a game. And they're athletic, and they can make plays in the passing game, but they're winning in other ways.
So 1st and 10, a gain of 15 on the play on 1st down. 1st and 10 from their own 27. In the flats, another quick out.
N'Keal Harry.
And that's time it is N'Keal Harry.
He just lowered his shoulder.
No, that was Justin Jan.
No, Justin Jan. Yeah, my bad. Just lowered his shoulder. Did a really nice job.
Really picking up the pace. They go right back to Justin Jan. They like N'Keal Harry blocking the football. And now more 1st down yardage. That's a gain of about 20 that time for Justin Jan.
Bubble screen on the perimeter into the flat, taking advantage of that blocking out front by Harry. Hamilton is going to have to bring down another defender in anticipation of that. Now they got called for a hold there, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like that play will be negated, but boy, do the Wolves have something rolling right now, and the Huskies have no answer defensively.
From a coverage standpoint, if you're Hamilton, it's like you have to pick your poison. Either you bring down a safety into the box to try to stop some of these bubble plays on the perimeter, but if you do that, you risk giving up the home run play by playing in cover 3 or man free.
And
offsides,
some movement. And we'll see. It looks like it's on the Huskies. And it is offsides on Hamilton, moves them up 5 yards. So it'll be 2nd and 5 now from about the 31 for the Chandler Wolves. 7.5 minutes left in the opening half. 24-0, Wolves lead it.
Hamilton still showing a too high safety look. They have Jaquan Mayberry is sort of playing that hybrid role in the slot.
Perkins back to throw an out route. Nice hit right there by the Wolves defender. It looks like it might have been Tristan Vance, the senior defensive back. He's one of the main DBs on this Hamilton defense, and he puts a nice blow. I believe that was on Justin Jan for the incompletion, so now it's 3rd and 5. Wolves from their own 32-yard line.
I think that was Chase Lucas.
Chase Lucas took that hit.
Yeah.
Fans trying to get the Huskies into it. Perkins back to throw. Little middle of the field, now to the outside. Dumps it off, and just short of the first down will be Chase Lucas. And it'll be 4th down. And for the first time tonight, it looks like Chandler is going to punt.
Braxton Banzewski, good job coming downhill from a safety position. They needed that.
They sure did. Morris Chroma back to receive the punt for the Wolves. He returned a kick for a score in the state championship game last year. He is explosive and can make things happen in a hurry. And boy, can the Huskies use a play. And that kick will be picked up at about the 30-yard line of Hamilton, where they will take over 1st and 10. And it looks like James Sosinski will be back in at quarterback.
It's a well-located punt. And, it's important in that situation not to give up a big play return, given your position in this game. Now, if you're Chandler, you just play the chess match. Still take opportunities when they're given to you, but don't kick it to a guy. Given Hamilton's success in special teams the last couple weeks, to make it some big plays.
So 1st and 10, Hamilton from their own 31-yard line. 7:10 left in the second quarter. Sosinski looking for Krasilik. Has it. Makes the catch, but only a short gain on the play. Quick tackle right there by Kyrie Woods.
Yeah, Woods reacted relatively well to that. I thought maybe if he had broken on it sooner, he might have had an opportunity to take one back. But not a bad play, all things considered.
And Kyrie Woods has been a player that most offenses have been avoiding this year. He's done a very nice job on the defensive side of the ball for the Wolves, stepping in for Wes Sutton, who's now playing college football. There's an inside run this time. Nice power running right through by the running back to get some positive yardage just short of the 40-yard line. That was Rico Tipton.
Chandler did a good job of anticipating that play call, loaded up the box. We haven't seen the vertical component to Hamilton's offense to this point. Despite being down, they're still trying to manage the game a little bit, and Hamilton's now bringing guys down.
So it'll be now 3rd and 2, and a big 3rd and 2 for Hamilton. They want to keep this drive going. They'll hand the ball off to Kyler Burke. Goes behind a block, has enough for a first down, but he's still on his feet. Now to the sidelines. Solid gain right there for Burke on 3rd down, and the Huskies are moving the chains.
He slipped multiple tackles there, including one by Kyrie Woods. He'd already gotten the first down by that point, but that's the type of thing that if Chandler's able to ward off, it's going to be really difficult for Hamilton to sustain drives.
And they got out to the 48-yard line, just short of midfield on that run by Kyler Burke, with just under 6 minutes left here in the first half.
I think at a certain point in time, Hamilton's going to have to try to take a shot down the field. Maybe you don't want to do it on a first down, maybe on a 2nd and medium type situation. If not, you're going to see the Wolves are just going to continue to bring guys down in the box and leave one-on-one matches on the perimeter.
And it looks like there was an injured player. It might have been Kyrie Woods, who
he might have took a heel to the face or something like that. He went down pretty hard on that attempted tackle.
So he leaves the game. 1st and 10, Wolves under 6 minutes left in the first half. 1st and 10, Huskies, I should say, just short of midfield. Trying to get on the scoreboard. Down 24-0 here in the first half. 64-game home winning streak on the line. They run the option. It's played. Tipton tries to get away from a tackle. A shoestring tackle made, and a nice one right there. K.T. Tellini, the junior linebacker, was the one that got into the backfield and made the play.
Very good play, anticipation, ran to the spot, dove and got a piece of the legs. Tackle for loss.
Loss of 2 yards on the play. Now 2nd and 12 for Hamilton.
10 guys on the field, I think, for Chandler.
Yeah, they'll call a timeout. 5:06 left in the first half. With the Wolves on top, 24-0. So Hamilton now in a position where they've got a drive going. They've moved the chain once on this drive. They moved back a couple yards on the first play of this set of downs. But they haven't even gotten into the Chandler red zone yet in this game. And they're going to have to try to do something here in a hurry. They do not receive to start the second half. So they want to score maybe even 2 before halftime to make it feel a little bit better.
Yeah, they have to tighten this thing up. Maybe they're going to need a big play. At some point in time, they probably are going to need a big play because the margin is significant given the potency of Chandler's offense.
Hamilton has tried to make some strikes downfield, but the passes just have not been in the right vicinity, either underthrown or overthrown so far when they've tried to make plays downfield. 5:06 to play in the first half. 3 receivers for Sosinski, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. He'll throw one quick, a bubble screen to Kyler Burke, makes the catch by his shoestrings and gets almost to about the original line of scrimmage, so a gain of 2 for Kyler Burke. Going to bring up a long third down under 5 minutes in this first half.
Kyrie Woods all over the place. He had that tackle again. He's probably been on about 5 or 6 tackles at this point. Really, really dialed into this game.
Very talented junior in the secondary is Kyrie Woods. And DJ Ware has done a nice job in place of Isaiah Swan, who doesn't appear to be playing in this game. Normally the opposite cornerback.
Hamilton shot itself in the foot with another false start there, Jared. They already were facing 3rd and long. Now it's 3rd and extra long. I wouldn't be surprised at all here if the Wolves dial up pressure to try to get on Sosinski.
So instead, it'll now be 3rd and 15 with 4.5 minutes left in this first half. 24-0 Wolves. They have been all over it from the get-go. Sosinski back to throw. He's going to air it out. A little bit underthrown. Coming back to try to make the play is Krasilik, and he can't. 4th down now for Hamilton.
They brought 6-man pressure. Sosinski had to get the ball out hot. There was one-on-one coverage, essentially man-free, no safety behind. But they just couldn't connect on the play because he had to get it out too quick, and it was well covered.
So the punt unit in. And Danny Mahan, the future lumberjack, is back to receive the punts at their own 15, and the Wolves have a chance to really go up big before halftime. Plenty of time to add to this lead. Krasilik, a beautiful high kick. That'll go out of bounds at about the 15 or so yard line, maybe the 20, where the Wolves will take over 1st and 10, up 24-0 with 4:05 left in the first half.
Not a bad punt at all, but he's not happy with it coming off the field. He rips his helmet off, but he's probably come to play more than just about anybody else on that Hamilton team to this point.
And if you're the Wolves, you got to think you got to kick them while they're down, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you're looking right now to really, really put them in a bad place going into this locker room emotionally. I mean, Hamilton may not even be able to recover if Chandler could come down and get points here before a halftime with 4 minutes left in the second quarter.
And they'll hand the ball off to Lucas. Goes around the outside, bounces out to the sidelines, gains about 5 yards on the play on 1st down.
He's an explosive guy on the edge, especially when you're able to get some blocks out in front. That time it got shut down with some good lateral pursuit by Hamilton.
Yep, they'll credit him with 5 yards. 2nd and 5 now, Chandler from the 25-yard line. On the near side, it's Harry and Taylor, the 2 receivers. They'll send Taylor in motion, and they'll hand the ball off to him. And he's got some space, powers his way to about the 1st down marker. It's going to be close, but it looks like it'll probably move the chains.
Yeah, a little jet sweep there. All their action that's been really, really successful and not able to be stopped by Hamilton has been on the perimeter, whether it's bubbles, jet sweeps, or just passes out behind the defense. I mean, they're just not able to stop them on the perimeter.
So it'll be 2 to the right, 1 to the left of Perkins on 1st and 10 with 3.5 minutes left, and a flag is down.
Looks like a offsides on Colin Ingram.
And another mistake for the Huskies in this first half, which has been the biggest story of this game. Not only are the Wolves are dominating, but Hamilton really kicking themselves in the foot at the same time.
Yeah, that's about the 4th or 5th penalty they've had, among a litany of other mistakes.
So it's 1st and 5 now. 3.5 minutes left in the first half. Perkins, he's going to air it out. Has a man down the sidelines, diving, but can't make the play is N'Keal Harry, but he had a shot at getting a hand on it.
I mean, we've already seen a couple highlight plays from Chandler, and that was almost another one. One-handed diving grab attempt. It was well covered the whole way on that play. Maybe shouldn't have even been thrown by Perkins, but he took a shot.
You can tell they're trying to go for that home run ball to really put this game out of reach in the first half, but haven't executed it just yet. 3:18 left in the first half. 2nd and 5 Wolves from their own 35. Lucas, the ball carrier, and he's wrapped up almost immediately by the Hamilton defensive line.
Yeah, Emmanuel Bayram made a nice play there. He had the end. He crashed down, got his hands around him, and brought him down pretty easily.
He's a very nice-looking junior on this Hamilton defensive front. Him and Garrett Rand, the 2 juniors on this defensive line.
Yeah, he's well put together. 6'1", 221 pounds, has a good frame, is going to add weight. Done a nice job of anchoring there on that field side end.
So 3rd and 3, and a flag is down before the play. And a false start on the Wolves that'll move them back to a little bit more of a difficult 3rd and 8 with 2:40 left here in the first half.
At this point, they may consider running the ball, forcing a timeout, or running some clock. You don't want to do anything that gives Hamilton a chance to get a score in this half, but we'll see. Maybe they don't.
2 to the right, 2 to the left of Perkins, back to throw. Middle of the field, caught by Justin Jan once again. Gain of 15, no, maybe about 12 on the play to about the 45-yard line for a first down for the Wolves. They're moving the chains yet again.
Best throw of the night there from Perkins. When he really sets his feet, he can deliver the football. It was a really good in-cut route. College or NFL type throw right there.
What a great first half also for Justin Jan. 2 touchdowns and that big play on 3rd down. Perkins going to air it out. Has a man. It's Justin Jan over the seam. He's to the 10, the 5. Touchdown Wolves. Justin Jan, a 55-yard score from Perkins, and the Wolves have blown this one wide open with under 2 minutes left in the first half.
Just a simple route. David De Silva was in man coverage there, and athletically he couldn't hang with Jan. Jan got a step on him. Perkins saw that very quickly, got the ball out, and then it was just pitch and catch. Well-targeted throw. Ran it into the end zone, a diving tackle by De Silva. Couldn't get there. And this game is a rout. 30-0. 31-0 now with the PAT, Jared, with 1:52 left in this half. This is a remarkable, to the point of almost being unprecedented development for Hamilton in a home game.
I mean, it's just shocking. And the Wolves have just come out and have executed in every facet that you could think of. Offense, defense, special teams, penalties, turnovers. They are doing everything right in this first half, and the scoreboard reflects that.
But what we talked about on the earlier drive, Jared, is Hamilton had a choice to make, which is do we bring up guys on the perimeter to try to counteract a lot of the stuff they're doing in the flats with the bubble screens. On that play, there was no safety over the top. And so when Justin Jan got behind De Silva in man coverage, there was nobody back there for support because Hamilton was probably had become more cautious about giving up some of the other plays that they had been. So that just shows the versatility of the potency of the Chandler offense, which has really been the dominant theme in this game.
And your assessment as someone that, assesses recruiting and whatnot, Justin Jan, one of the very big bright spots in this first half.
Well, Jan and N'Keal Harry have both looked like clear-cut Pac-12 prospects.
And here's a nice return on the kickoff for the Huskies, almost out to midfield. It looks like it was it Morris Chroma on that return? It was actually Rico Tipton, the junior running back, that took that ball just shy of midfield. So good field position for the Huskies to try to get on the board here before halftime. And they're going to need to, as they will have to kick it away to start the second half.
Yeah, that's the second time on a kickoff return they've started past their own 45-yard line, but they haven't been able to capitalize on it whatsoever to this point. We'll see if they can on this drive. They need something to happen. 1:43 left in the half.
Shotgun for Sosinski. Play action. Looking downfield, middle of the field, caught by Burke, and he gets leveled and drops it.
Hey, who do you think that was, Jared, on the play?
Jeray Mills.
Jeray Mills, once again.
The player of the game on defense so far for the Chandler Wolves, lowers the shoulder on Kyler Burke, who can't corral it in, incomplete.
He read that the whole way, broke on the ball, and put his shoulder right on the ball at its arrival. Incomplete.
Channeling his inner Adrian Wilson on that play, Jeray Mills, the senior, making a big play in his last battle for Arizona Avenue.
He's been outstanding to this point.
So 2nd and 10 from the 47. They'll hand the ball off to Tipton. Trying to get away from one tackle, but J.W. Windsor doesn't let him get out of his grasp. Nice job for Windsor.
Yeah, really good pursuit. Hey, kind of surprised Chandler didn't immediately take a timeout. They have a chance to force Hamilton into a punt. Maybe they can try to get a punt block or something to just pour a little bit more dirt on what's looking like a Hamilton grave that's already been dug out.
Yeah, no question about it. They want to get another score up there as they call timeout with 1:25 left in this first half. It's going to be a 3rd and 9 for Hamilton. Bellis very animated with his offense huddled around him on the near side of the field.
He's trying to find something. They switched their quarterback. They're going to some different formations. But so far, there's nothing that is just worked. And that's got to be, for a coach, one of the most helpless feelings, because there's only so much that really you can do once you're in the middle of a game like this.
So after the timeout, it'll be 3rd and 9 Hamilton from their own 47-yard line with 1:25 left.
It's still one more timeout, so if they get a stop here, timeout, force a punt.
Sosinski back to throw. Has time. Down the field. Caught by Krasilik by his shoelaces, but it'll be short of the first down by a couple yards, and a late flag comes in at the very end.
Didn't see what happened there. Isaiah Swan did a good job of holding him up, and then the flag came in late.
And
Called the face mask on the tackle.
Yeah, and a face mask on the Wolves. They had an opportunity to maybe get the ball back before half, but with 1:14 left, that's 15 extra yards for Hamilton to try to get on the scoreboard.
Well, that's big because now they have the ball in the 30. They're very close to being in scoring range. With just over a minute left in this half, if they got to get something here.
So it'll be 2 to the right, 2 to the left of Sosinski. 1 minute left in this first half. Down the middle of the field and an incomplete. And it looks like someone heard some footsteps before that ball came in.
Yeah, Rico Tipton was there. What they did is they went empty set on that, Jared. So they had 5 receivers releasing down the field. I thought Mason Moran was kind of in between going for the football or going for the big hit. And because of that, it fell incomplete.
And Mason Moran, the unanimous captain junior for the Chandler Wolves on the defensive side of the ball, also the backup quarterback. Sosinski, he's going to throw it downfield, almost intercepted.
Wow, Kyle Crowley. He just dropped into a zone there, and Sosinski didn't see him whatsoever. Dropped into his zone, got his hands up. The ball was just off his fingertips. That was a really neat opportunity for him to get a pick.
And he could have taken that back for 6. He had a lot of Wolves by his side that could have been good lead blockers, and that could have just been disastrous for Hamilton. Not that this first half already hasn't been. Showing blitz this time of the Wolves. And they run it, and nothing doing. J.W. Windsor all over Kyler Burke. Loss on the play.
Inside shovel play. Chandler just penetrated at the line of scrimmage, multiple players. There's no opportunity for that to work. And Hamilton took a timeout here.
Yeah, Hamilton takes a timeout with 46 seconds left. Down 31-0, looking at a 4th and 10. 4th and 11, excuse me. They lost 1 yard on that play.
I think where they're at right now, we're looking at a 47-yard field goal. I don't think they're going to bring out their field goal team. They're probably going to try to go for it here.
You at least try to go for the first down marker, as there's still plenty of time to get 2, 3, maybe 4 plays off before the end of the half.
They have 2 more timeouts to their advantage, so there is time. It's going to be tough on a 4th and 10. We'll see. Last time the Wolves dialed up some pressure on a long situation, 3rd and long. We'll see if they do here again, or if they decide to play a real safe coverage to try to prevent giving up the big play down the field.
So off the timeout, and a timeout is called by the Wolves here before they.
Looked like Hamilton broke the huddle with 12, and Chandler took a timeout inexplicably. Maybe didn't like their call defensively on that.
So the situation will be 4th and 12 with 46 seconds left, and Hamilton's got to make something happen.
Yeah, the ball's actually at the 32, so they're looking at like a 49-yard field goal if they tried it. They brought their offense onto the field, so that doesn't look like a possibility.
Only a handful of kickers in Arizona that can nail a 49-yard field goal. We have seen Dylan Brown, the senior kicker for Hamilton, make some clutch kicks. He had that huge one at the end of the Pinnacle game after they surrendered the lead late, but 49 yards might be a little bit outside of his range.
Once again, they're going to an empty look. They got 1 tight end and 4 receivers on the field. They're going to throw a vertical here.
Sosinski out of the shotgun, steps into the pocket, down the middle of the field, caught by Krasilik to the 10-yard line, and enough for a first down. Probably the most well-executed offensive passing play for the Huskies so far.
And like we said, he's been their best player. That was a tough catch to make. It was just off his fingertips, working back towards the football. Nearly had to dive for it, but was able to bring it in. Now they got to move quickly.
And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 10. And Steve Bellis is irate as the Huskies had 12 men on the field, so they have to burn a timeout. They'll only have 1 left with 29 seconds left.
That was Krilic. There was a substitution. He was supposed to come off the field after that play. Didn't do so fast enough, and Bellis had to burn that timeout, which came after about 10 precious seconds ticked off the clock there. So 29 seconds left in the half. They do have a legitimate scoring opportunity now.
And what did they do on that play? What did they do on that play to kind of create an opening?
Well, Lucas was on the field there, and he hadn't been on the field to this point in the game. And that was Krasilik, that was the player who caught the ball. So it may have been somehow related to that. But it was a really good route and a really good catch. So that's a tough thing to stop, too.
So 3 wide receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Kyler Burke coming out of the backfield, and a big hit as Sosinski was getting rid of the football. But a nice play right there on the defensive side of the ball, providing pressure, is number 9, Zane Serrano, the outside senior linebacker for the Wolves, that crushes Sosinski as he's letting go of the football.
Yeah, it was on his backside. He didn't feel that coming at all. No idea if that ball would have had a chance to be complete or not, because the hit impacted him as he delivered it.
The Wolves dialing up the pressure that time around, and great coverage downfield as well, leading to Sosinski holding the ball just that extra time. Out route just inside the 5-yard line to Kyler Burke.
Yeah, Burke working against Swan to the boundary sideline there. Nice little play to try to get them closer in to take a shot.
And it looks like it'll be 3rd and goal from the 5. with 20 seconds left on the clock. Hamilton still does have one timeout, but this is the deepest into Chandler territory they've been this whole game. Sosinski rolls to his left, to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Hamilton! 5-yard touchdown, pitch and catch from Sosinski.
Kyler Burke, I think.
Was that Kyler Burke? Yes, it was. Kyler Burke catches it by the pylon, and the Wolves are on, or the Huskies are on the board for the first time.
So we'll see. That could give them some life, some feeling of, hey, maybe this game is not over. I mean, they were trailing by 5 scores until that point. In a half of football, that's a monumental thing against a good team. PAT is good, so 31-7 with 15.5 seconds left in the half. Hamilton fans stand up. Some life has now been breathed into their team.
And we've mentioned a few times that the Wolves will get the ball to start the second half, like you said, so getting that extra 7 is extremely beneficial. But a good drive right there for Hamilton. They love those methodical drives, those ones where they just pound and pound and pound, and they were able to come away with a big score.
Yeah, they take so much time off the clock typically on a lot of their touchdown drives that when you have so much separation against a team like Chandler, 5 scores, that's almost insurmountable. So they needed that for 2 reasons, because they can't have Chandler get too far ahead of them, and then because they needed something to feel good about going into the half. Had they not been able to score there, I would have gone as far as to say the game was maybe over, but now maybe not.
The kick is away and it's caught. A nice return here across the 35, still powering the pile forward, finally down at about the 37-yard line.
I think it was Mills.
And it was Colby Taylor on the return that time. Okay. And yes, he'll be at about the 37, 38-yard line, where the Chandler Wolves will have 6 seconds left, and I would be guessing they would probably put a knee on it, but, you know, with the way they're capable of scoring, you never know.
I get a knee on this and get into the locker room.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. Perkins takes the snap, takes a knee, and we've played a half. A shocking turn of events here at Hamilton High School, who's won 64 in a row on their home field, find themselves down 31-7 at the half. Jared Cohen and Chris Cartman on the call here, going to take a short break and give it up for the high school bands here at halftime, and we'll have second half action after that. Well, an interesting storyline here at Hamilton High School for the battle at Arizona Avenue. At halftime, just before the start of the third quarter, 31-7 is the score. The Huskies trail. And we mentioned at the very top of the broadcast that the Huskies have not lost a game in this stadium in 64 tries. They have a 64-game winning streak, and that is very much on the line here during this second half. This is Jared Cohen of Sports360AZ.com, Chris Cartman of ASUDevils.com joining me. And Chris, if someone said that Chandler might win this game, it might not be as shocking, but to say that they would be winning by this much is really baffling at this point.
Nobody expected this, especially given the common opponent of Mountain Point and what happened when both teams played Mountain Point. And especially in this environment at home, it's one of the toughest places to play. It's a game that Hamilton has historically dominated, and they're on the wrong end of a butt kicking to this point, to be perfectly blunt.
Well, two players that have stood out for the Wolves on both sides of the football. On the offensive side, first of all, Bryce Perkins has looked great, but his main weapon, Justin Jan, 3 scores, including a 55-yard score. And his first score was an amazing diving catch, one that you said was one of the best you've seen in high school football yet this season.
They've been remarkable at the skill positions. Not only have they won from an athletic standpoint, but their blocking has been terrific. And I've been really struck by what we just coming out of the half. Hamilton didn't even come out until about 30 seconds out of halftime because they're obviously trying to make some adjustments and got some pep in themselves, pep in their steps coming out of the locker room. Chandler was obviously feeling really good about themselves, Jared. With about 4 minutes left remaining in halftime, we're already on the field going through some warm-ups and things like this. This is about the latest I've ever seen a team come out of the locker room at the end of a halftime.
And after Hamilton gathers for a big huddle before the start of the second half, you see the Vanderbilt commit Caleb Pert jump out of that huddle without his helmet on, just screaming, fired up with his teammates, trying to get them going. Him and his defense is going to have to get a stop very quickly and then a quick score offensively to try to gain some momentum to chip away at this lead.
Right. They got some good energy, some positive vibes going into the locker room with that touchdown late. Now you can't let that slip away. High school football is all about momentum. It's about capitalizing on your energy swings. It was really going against them the entire first half until the very end now. Let's see if they can sustain what Chandler was able to do in the first half.
And then defensively for Chandler, Jeray Mills, a name that we called very, very often out of the safety position, whether it's making plays in the secondary or making plays in the offensive backfield of Hamilton. He was just everywhere in that first half.
Tremendous performance. I mean, probably the MVP of the game to this point, certainly on the defensive end. And he's done it in different ways. Like you said, Jared, he's made some plays on the back end, defending the pass, and then he's come up and he's made a lot of physical plays closer to the line of scrimmage. He's just been outstanding to this point.
When you have seen Hamilton be able to move the ball effectively, what are they doing right?
Well, there's versatility. They've had some power run plays that have worked at times. They've thrown the ball into the flat a little bit, not nearly as successfully as they would like to. And then when they really were moving the football, they were opening it up, getting some verticals for receivers, really knowing that they had to really push it in order to strike more quickly.
So Chandler will receive to start the second half. Danny Mahan and Terrell Flanagan will be back to receive the Brandon Krasilik kick.
You think Krasilik served hot dogs and other vending type products at halftime? I mean, the guy does everything.
He literally does everything for this team. It's pretty incredible. But as a matter of fact, as we say that, he won't be kicking this off. Dylan Brown, number 19, will. But Krasilik does normally do the kickoffs, which are normally booming touchbacks. This one, a shorter kick, played and rolls into the end zone for a touchback, so it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Wolves as they go on offense for the first time in this second half, up 31-7.
Hard one to handle there for the return man, the way that it was bouncing. It wasn't a very good kick, but it worked out.
Bryce Perkins, a very impressive first half. Even the plays that were broken down or the plays where Hamilton was able to get some pressure on him, he was still able to make something happen, whether it's eluding the pressure and gaining a few yards with his legs or finding players downfield. And when you have a quarterback that can do that, you're not going to lose very many games.
I would expect Chandler to come out and do a lot of the same things. Jet sweeps, a lot of bubbles, things that take advantage of their blocking on the perimeter.
And they'll hand the ball off to Lucas on the first play. He has blockers ahead of him. Good pursuit right there by the Hamilton front seven.
Colby Taylor fell down there, slipped in the grass ahead trying to get a block, and that's what prevented the play from really taking off.
Gain of about 2 on the play makes it 2nd and 8 from their own 22-yard line. And a player had to leave the field because he's lost his helmet. It was an offensive lineman.
Yeah, Caleb Purd is getting his hands up, trying to play to the crowd, get the energy in the building.
Yeah, he's the near side defensive end for the Hamilton Huskies, the Vanderbilt commit. There's another handoff to Chase Lucas, gain of about another 3 or 4 on the play. And a player that we thought was very good-looking player in the first half for Hamilton on the defensive line, Emmanuel Byram, with the stop.
Yeah, inside draw. He reacted nicely to it, shut it down. Good lateral mobility in his gap.
Lucas gets about 4 on that play, so a 3rd and 4 and a big opportunity for Hamilton to get a 3 and out on this first possession of the second half. And they could use it. Just underway here the second half. Jared Cohen and Chris Cartman here from Hamilton High School, the Battle of Arizona Avenue. Perkins back to throw, feeling the pressure. Out to the outside to Lucas. He'll have a first down as he crosses the 30-yard line. Nice decision-making right there for Bryce Perkins, who saw the pressure coming.
Yeah, he just picked up the blitz. Hamilton blitzed. He just picked up the first down. The swing was where they vacated, and they were playing off coverage. Good job by Perkins getting it out quickly.
Trips to the left of Perkins. They're going to hand the ball off again to Perkins, and a nice tackle. And who was that? It looks like Caleb Pert. A TFL for Caleb Pert on first down.
He just chased down the line of scrimmage from the backside and made a great play there.
Byram and Pert have done a great job in the ends, and there's a misplayed snap. Perkins picks it up, and he's still on his feet, and he's got some room to run, and he's taken off across the 50, across the 40, out of bounds. A touchdown-saving tackle from Daniel De Silva, and a disastrous start of the play turns into a huge gain for the Wolves.
That was, in one play, a great emblem of the way this game's unfolded. Perkins wasn't at all ready for the snap from Frazier. Frazier thought that he had motioned and was ready for the snap, and then Perkins, seemingly with nowhere to run, somehow reaches the edge and makes a big play out of it.
Gain of 22 on the play. Into the flats now. And it's enough for a first down on that play from Perkins to Colby Taylor, who's had a very nice first half. We're seeing the really big upside of Colby Taylor in this game with what he can do once the football is in his hands.
Quick hitting pass to the flat. He just turned it upfield, lowered his pads, and picked up an extra few yards.
First down to the Hamilton 31-yard line. Play action to Jan on the outside. He'll keep it and gain about 9.5 yards. They're actually going to say he went out of bounds closer to the 30, maybe the 24-yard line.
That play right there, Jared, is something straight out of ASU's playbook. Mike Norvell. They have wide split 2x2s, and the receiver in back of the other one on the line of scrimmage is going to just catch the ball with the bubble created by the block out in front. Work perfectly.
9:40 left in the third quarter. Lucas the carry. And a nice tackle. He lost the football but picks it back up at the 25-yard line. On the far side, good pursuit by the defensive line of Hamilton.
They did a good job with the contained responsibility on that boundary side on the play.
And there's a Hamilton player down on the far side of the field.
Ball squirted out.
Chandler player.
Yeah, the ball squirted out very late. May or may not have been down, but it didn't get away from them whatsoever. Short third down, or maybe a medium third down, I would say, coming up here. And Chandler may be actually in 4-down territory, given the ball placement on the 25.
And it looks like the left tackle for Chandler, Brandon Ramirez, the senior, is the one that appears to be down for the Wolves, who are looking at a 3rd and 4 from the Hamilton 25-yard line.
Looks like a left leg issue. We'll see if he's trying to pop up right now, and we'll see if he does. So
having a lot of trouble putting weight on that left leg. Hopefully it's not too serious.
So they'll have a new left tackle on for this 3rd down play. Thomas Chisholm, I think, is who it is.
So to be 3rd and 4, Huskies need to get a stop. And they'll hand off to Lucas, who had a lot of space running up the gut. He might have had enough for a 1st down with forward progress, but it's going to be close.
Depends on the spot. I think maybe it was just short. Looks like it's going to be 4th and not quite a yard. Tough decision here.
They did kick a 30-yard field goal in the first half. This would be a little bit more than that.
They're up 24 points. Field goal makes it 27. Doesn't extend it beyond a 4-possession game that it already is. So they decide they're going to go for it.
So they are going to go for it. 4th and 1 from the Hamilton 22. Perkins has Lucas to his left. In motion, Taylor. They hand it to Lucas. More than enough for a 1st down as he crosses the 20-yard line. And the Wolves will move the chains with 8:47 left in the 3rd quarter.
There's physical blocking inside on that left side. They knew what they wanted to do. Their guard and their left tackle, perhaps the backup left tackle who's still in there, just did a good job of resetting the line of scrimmage on Hamilton.
So 2 to the right of Perkins. Hand the ball off to Lucas. Has some space. Picks up some speed. Gets into the red zone and then some. Down at about the 6-yard line is Chase Lucas, who gets 1st down yardage on 1st and 10.
He really hit that quick, and now they're moving really fast.
Moving the ball very quickly. They hand the ball off again to Lucas. Tries to power through between the tackles.
Same play. Same thing as they did in the first half. When they hit a big play successfully, especially in the run game, they're getting right up on the line of scrimmage over the ball and doing it again.
And now it's 2nd and 4 from the 4. Handed off to Lucas again. Good job by the Hamilton defensive line to shut the gap. And no gain on the play.
Yeah, bodies all over the line of scrimmage on the ground there. And they did a good job of physically responding to the speed.
Looks like they had big Garrett Rand in there to plug up that hole.
Yep.
The big junior. And it's going to be now 3rd and goal from the 3, and that's the fastest from 1st to 3rd down I've seen at the high school level. They went through that pretty quick.
Hamilton looks a little bit gassed right now along that defensive front.
Perkins rolls out, throws, and it's caught in the end zone. Is he in there? Touchdown, Wolves. Colby Taylor, his 1st touchdown of the game, and the Wolves open up now a 37-7 lead with 7.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
It wasn't even defended poorly. That's just a simple route where Colby Taylor stops just inside that goal line. Hamilton was there at the catch and put a lick on him, but he was able to haul it in.
Now Lovett's in for the extra point.
Bad kick. I think the hold was fine, but he kicked it right into the back of his line. 37-7. And the momentum that Hamilton had there, Jared, entering the halftime, has been squandered here to start the 2nd half.
And they really had opportunities to turn it over to their offense. There was a 4th down and also a manageable 3rd down to beat, but the Wolves were able to plug through it and get in for the score to open up a 30-point lead.
Once again, it's really been the physicality of Chandler on the perimeter with a lot of their blocking that has enabled this type of success. And as opposed to just having assignment errors or things of that nature, they're being physically beaten, and that's a harder problem to overcome.
So Jared Cohen and Chris Cartman here from Hamilton High School as the Huskies are about to get on offense for the first time in the second half, trailing 37-7. And as Chris mentioned before the start of the second half, with the more methodical nature of the Hamilton offense, they're going to have to really move in a hurry to get back into this one. And that kickoff goes out of bounds from Lubitz, which will draw a flag and some extracurriculars a little bit further away, which had nothing to do with the kick going out of bounds.
At this point, you're down 30 points. If you're Hamilton and with your style of play, you can't have any empty possessions.
Yeah, and they just have a personal foul right there on the kickoff, which will move them back 15 yards.
So they're going to have to drive nearly the full length of the field here. And they have to be mindful at this stage of the game to get up over the ball, to not allow too much time in between plays, to even call play types that don't lead to the bleeding of a lot of clock. Because if they score 7 points, but it takes 6 or 7 minutes for that to happen, that isn't going to get it done for them.
So after the penalty, which would have put them at the 35 with the kick going out of bounds, it's 1st and 10 from their own 20. And a handoff, good option read right there for the Wolves. That was not Sosinski in a quarterback. Actually, it was Sosinski in a quarterback. And he makes a good decision right there, but he's slow to get up.
Just pulled it at the last minute. Saw that the end was there to make the play on the handoff and brought it back in.
It's good decision-making right there on the option read. Hand the ball off. This is Kyler Burke, their playmaker, and he only gains maybe about 3 yards after the 7-yard pickup on 1st and down. So it's going to be about 3rd and short here. And now the Wolves looking at an opportunity to get a 3-and-out on their first defensive possession.
So it was an inside sweep, what we call a buck sweep.
6.5 left in the third quarter with the Wolves on top 37-7. 2 to the right, 1 to the left of Sosinski. Throws into the flats to Burke. Sheds a tackle and will have enough for a first down. Mason Moran was right there to make the play, and he's a little bit upset with himself. He could have stopped them short of a first down, but the athleticism of Kyler Burke is able to break a tackle and get enough for a first down out to the 40-yard line.
They had 2 inline tight ends there. They had that receiver in space, and Moran had a chance to stop him on a TFL. He didn't break down quickly enough in advance of going for the tackle, and that's what enabled the slip by.
So it'll be 1st and 10 Huskies from their own 37-yard line with 6 minutes left in the third quarter. 2 to the right, 2 to the left of Sosinski. Has a man in motion. He'll hand the ball off, and all over him is Thomas Chisholm. KT Kalini was also in the area, but great pursuit on defense for the Wolves.
That's just breakdowns up front with the blocking of Hamilton. This Hamilton offensive line has historically been so dominant, and this year they're younger, they're not as experienced, they're not as big, and that's been limiting in a lot of respects.
So a 2-yard loss, 2nd and 12 from their own 35. And Sosinski will have trips to the left with the lone back behind him. And they're going to air it out. Krasilik, the intended receiver, makes a great over-the-shoulder catch across the 50 to about the 46-yard line. First down for the Huskies.
Again, when they need a play, who do they go to? Krasilik. That's a little fade concept. Defender was on his hip.
And that's not an easy catch.
No, he had a tough time locating the ball, had his head basically square all the way back, watching it Willie Mays style in center field.
Willie Mays style, well played. And they'll hand the ball off. No, they'll hand the ball off. Good trickery right there. In space, a solid gain on first down. That looks like Rashad Williams, one of his first carries of the game for Hamilton.
Yeah, they fooled just about everybody there. We thought it was a quick fullback draw. Instead, they hit the sweep on the perimeter. Chandler reacted to the flow, and it was a good run.
Yeah, solid gain out to the Chandler 34-yard line, 1st and 10. So back-to-back first down yardage for the Huskies. And Sosinski will keep it. Running the option, gets it to Burke. Nowhere really to go. The Wolves defense was all over that one.
Yeah, what happened there is that the guy who has the read back broke off of that to go to the quarterback, and once he did that, Sosinski was able to make the pitch. It's what we call the alert back. His responsibility is just staying on that, but he decided not to. That's the mental discipline of that play.
And slow to get up, but able to get up. Right guard Colton Hayes, the junior right guard for Hamilton, still in there in the huddle, but was a little slow to get up.
It was Isaiah Swan on that defensive play who had to make a tough decision and made the wrong one.
And 2 guys were in motion, miscommunication.
Yeah. You can't have 2 guys adjusting at the same time.
And instead of a penalty being called, they call a timeout. So 4:39 left in the third quarter as the Huskies are driving but are down by 30 points. And they're driving, but they need to do so maybe a little bit more efficiently than they're doing so presently, with just 4:39 left in the third quarter.
It looked like Iguana wanted some clarification on if that timeout came before the illegal procedure, which wasn't called, and he seems to be satisfied with what the referees told him there.
Some big games around the state. Queen Creek finds themselves down to Saguaro as we're back to action here. Under center, Sosinski will hand the ball. Play action. Looking to the center of the field, but can't connect. Intended receiver was Luke Gauthier.
Mason Moran.
The tight end.
Mason Moran reacted very well to that play. Hamilton had 10 guys along the line of scrimmage. They basically had 3 tight ends on the field, just 1 receiver and a back. And Mason Moran saw the tight end release into a route, reacted to it quickly, and was able to shut that down. That was a beautiful play. Great instincts.
And as I was about to mention, it's 28-12. Queen Creek trails Saguaro in the third quarter. Under center, Sosinski. A screen. It runs to Pitts. Pitts has some blockers ahead of him. Ducks away from defenders, still on his feet down inside the 10-yard line. Nice gain right there. Using his blockers is Caleb Pitts, the junior, on the wide receiver screen. And into the red zone go the Huskies.
That was a bit unlucky because Chandler had some pressure inside. Set up perfectly for the Hamilton play call, and they're in business now inside the 10.
It'll be 1st and goal from the 8 with just over 4 minutes left in the third quarter. 37-7. The Huskies trail but are driving.
They've done this in just 3 minutes, which is really important as well.
Hands the ball off to Tipton. No, Sosinski keeps it himself. Tries to power through. Is he in? Yes, he is.
Great read option play. The read defender crashed down, which is the reason why Sosinski decided to keep it. And he was able to get around the edge and power through contact into the end zone. They were able to score in about 3.5 minutes, Jared. We talked at the outset about that drive is not only do they need to score, but they couldn't do it in a long amount of time. They were able to do it rather quickly to keep themselves somewhat in this game.
And now in for the extra point. Kick is up and good for Dylan Brown. So with 4 minutes left in the third quarter, Huskies staying alive. They trail 37-14 on the Sosinski 8-yard touchdown run.
They're going to need just about everything to fall right for them from this point through the end of this game to have a chance. And we'll see if that can happen, because it would be just an unbelievable sort of a comeback. Of course, it's a long way from that happening at this point. They're still down 23 points. That brought the Hamilton crowd to about as high of an energy level as it's been in the game to this point. Some people are still standing up. The student section seems to have a little bit of motivation. And now what they need to do is they need to get a quick stop. A 3-and-out would be great to sort of build on this little bit of momentum they have from that nice offensive drive.
And one thing that they haven't been able to do often enough is get stops defensively, as Chandler has only been forced to punt once in this game, and they've been stopped on 4th down just twice. One of those led to a field goal, but another 4th down went for a 1st down on a Chase Lucas run. And so the defense needs to step up and make a play. Krasilik back in to kick things away, and watch him power this ball most likely into the back of the end zone.
He's like a little bit upset that they didn't go with him on the last kickoff, maybe.
I would be if I were him. Ball received inside the 5 from Danny Mahan. Don't give him space. He can return it for 6. And good job by the special teams of Hamilton. There is a flag down as he gets it out to just across the 25-yard line to about the 27.
That's usually on the return team in that location. And it is a hold on Chandler.
So that'll move them back inside their own 20.
Good opportunity here for Hamilton if they can somehow get a stop and maybe get some field possession. If not, it's going to be really hard.
It'll be 1st and 10 from their own, call it the 13-yard line, as the Wolves take over on offense. Bryce Perkins back in leading his offense. He'll have trips to his left and N'Keal Harry, the lone man, to his right.
Hamilton staying in a too high safety look.
They hand the ball off to Lucas. Good job trying to get away from defenders, but Byarm is there to get a TFL on Chase Lucas, and a great start for the defense on 1st down.
Nice play. One at the line of scrimmage, exploded into the backfield, and was there to bring in a difficult to take down offensive player.
If you can take positives for Hamilton out of this game, it's been the play of Emmanuel Byarm on the defensive line for Hamilton, the junior. Hand the ball off again to Lucas. And this time he'll get positive yardage out to the 15, back to about the original line of scrimmage, gain a 3. And a 3rd down and long, and a big opportunity for Hamilton right now.
Plus side for Chandler, they're burning some clock. The downside is now they have a 3rd and long to prevent a 3-and-out, which would keep Hamilton with some momentum.
That's a very good spot for Chase Lucas. They credited him with a gain of 5 on that play, which makes it 3rd and 8. Just under 3 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Play action. Perkins rolls to his left. Now comes back to his right. Has a man upfield, but he's trying to get away from the defender. Now he'll just launch it up into the air, but Chase Lucas is open, and he makes the catch. Across the 50. Now has some blockers. On his feet across the 40. Cuts upfield. I cannot believe what I just saw. Touchdown, Chandler Wolves. Is there a flag down?
No.
No flag, but Bryce Perkins had pressure, nowhere to go, launches the ball up to the man that came out of the backfield, Chase Lucas, and then he does what he does best, scampers his way for a long score. Just the way they drew it up, right?
Yeah. What did we say in that first half, Jared? The ability of Bryce Perkins to extend plays. He's big, he's athletic, he's tough to tackle, he has a good sense of feel for what's going on around him. And that was a good job of freelancing. It was Chase Lucas who decided to change the route. He saw Bryce Perkins was rolling in his direction. He slipped his defensive player, got behind him, and after what seemed like an eternity, Perkins saw him. I saw it open out earlier. Of course, I have a much better vantage up here than he has on the field. And put about everything he had on that throw. He did about 50 yards downfield. Lucas's defender couldn't get to him. Then he made a deft cut after the catch and ran about another 40 yards after hauling it in. And I hate to say it for the Hamilton faithful here, but their streak is all but over at this point. that might have been the dagger.
And what can you say about Bryce Perkins? You mentioned it. Improvisation. Talk about making something out of nothing. He was completely bottled up inside his own 5-yard line, gets away, and great understanding by Chase Lucas to just run downfield. That ball was even just a tad underthrown, but still enough space for Lucas to haul it in and then to make the play after.
Such a demoralizing thing for Hamilton when you look at that play in the broader perspective of this game. Hamilton had just driven down, got a nice touchdown in a 3-minute drive,
and about to force a 3 and out.
They had forced a 3rd and 8 situation, and then they had Perkins hemmed up. Somehow he's able to extend the play, cut loose, throw the ball down the field, and what was some positive momentum for Hamilton is now gone, and the game looks like it's all but over at this point. We'll see if Hamilton can do anything to respond.
They'll have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line with 2:25 left in the third. And then there's a nice run on 1st down for Kyler Burke.
Nice tackle by Moran to come up and make a play after a couple guys missed him earlier on in the play.
Enough for a 1st down for Kyler Burke. He gets to about the 46-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Hamilton with just over 2 minutes left in the third.
Too much time coming off the clock here. They're huddling. They're taking 20 or 30 seconds, and they don't have the ability to do that down 40 points in this game.
Bunch formation with one receiver out. They're going to hand the ball off. That's Kyler Burke again, and he's making plays. Another 1st down pickup for Kyler Burke across the 45 to just shy of the 40-yard line, and another 1st down.
It's a nice run. Chandler's defense not really responding well on this possession. They've missed some blocks. They're not getting lined up quickly and properly. They're not getting off the football.
Sosinski will hand the ball off to the guy with the hot hand, Kyler Burke, who will just dive forward, and a smart decision there as there was nothing there, but he gets positive yardage on that run. Kyler Burke on 1st down.
That was a better rep there for Chandler. Better play. They've not done so well on the drive leading up to this point. We'll see if Hamilton's able to get some more explosive plays.
Just over a minute left now in the third quarter. Jared Cohen and Chris Cartman here on the call from Hamilton High School. Sosinski's looking deep, middle of the field, and it's caught by Kyler Burke. And he has enough for a Husky 1st down. And Burke is earning his stripes on this possession.
That was the first miss by Jere Mills coming up. Just wasn't within himself physically on that play, and he flew by the tackle.
So 1st and 10 as the Huskies have quickly gone out to the Chandler 30-yard line. Now under a minute left in this third quarter. Sosinski to throw at the middle, and it's caught by Krasilik to about the 20-yard line, enough for maybe yet another 1st down.
Great slant. He's been their best player tonight by far.
And probably their best player alongside Kyler Burke all season.
Yeah, and that was actually well defended by Woods, but he made a great catch.
1st and 10 from the 20. He's going to air it out. He's got Burke, but well defended, and it's incomplete. Good defense on the far side of the field by the Chandler secondary, and make it 2nd down.
That throw was a slant. It was a fade. Just a little bit more vertical of where it needed to be. It was well defended. Hamilton right now is in desperation mode, and you see it. They're coming out. They're just firing. They know that they need to get a lot of points on the board quickly.
And they'll have 2 receivers split, and it looks like a Hamilton player might have jumped too early.
And that's emblematic of what we're talking about. They're just trying to go so fast now, and it's not really their MO.
Yeah, it's not their style.
It's not their style. And so that when that's the case, that's when you're prone to having some of these mistakes, and then that puts you into an even bigger hole.
After the penalty, it's now 2nd and 15 from the Chandler 25-yard line. We have 35 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Switching out personnel group right there quickly.
43-14 the score. Hamilton trails. And good pressure. Sosinski gets away, going to sling it to the outside. It's caught by the sidelines. Nice job by Sosinski right there. Kyler Burke hauls it in. But a good job by Sosinski of making sure that play stays alive.
Avoiding that sack was crucial because that would have bled a lot of time off, and it would have put them in a 3rd and forever.
Instead, it's 3rd and 15.
No, it's
excuse me, 3rd and about 5.
3rd and 5.
With 28 seconds left in the 3rd. And Sosinski will have 2 to the right, 1 to the left, and a lone back right next to him out of the shotgun. Over the middle, little bit overthrown, and a pass interference is going to be called.
They got a PI on Kyrie Woods there. Kind of borderline. It was a nice little play action toss over the top, and he was there just a bit early.
Looking to get the tight end involved. But they get the penalty, which will give them first down yardage and will be inside the 10-yard line.
It wasn't a bad key read on the assignment, but he was just a little bit overzealous in reacting to the ball.
So that'll make it now 1st and goal Huskies from their 8-yard line. Man in motion is Burke from the slot. Sosinski slings it, looking for Krasilik over his head and into a lot of traffic, incomplete.
He really opened himself up there, jumping up and extending his arms above his head to try to make that play. Mason Moran was looking for the home run knockout shot, but it was incomplete. A little bit of alligator arms maybe by the receiver, but you can't really blame him on that.
Yeah, kind of left up there hanging. 2nd and goal from the 8, 20 seconds left in the 3rd. Jared Cohen and Chris Cartman on the call here from Hamilton High School. Tipped in the man in motion out of the backfield. They'll do a toss to Burke. Tries to power his way through, driven out of bounds inside the 5.
Nice play call on that sweep against the flow of their offensive line. They've been almost exclusively throwing the ball here. That was an opportunity to maybe catch them a little bit off guard with a play call. At a minimum, he got out of bounds there and was able to stop the clock on a pretty decent gainer. And now the 3rd down's not as long.
They only credit him with 2 yards on that carry, so it'll be 3rd and goal from the 6. And Sosinski will have 2 men in the split in the backfield. They'll hand it off to Tipton, trying to power his way through. Won't be enough for a score, maybe gain of 4 on the play, and that'll be the last play of the 3rd quarter. We have played 3 here at Hamilton Huskies and here at Hamilton High School, and the 64-game home winning streak here at Hamilton is in jeopardy as they trail Chandler 43-14 in this battle for Arizona Avenue, and a great ovation from the Wolves fans as they go to the other end of the field.
Not sure if Bellis really liked that play call in retrospect. Chandler's done a good job with the line of scrimmage, especially in tighter quarters, and that play didn't have enough time to really set up a run lane inside. They definitely are going to go for it here. There's no ability for them to take 3 points and be satisfied given their predicament in this game, trailing by 29 points with 1 quarter to go. So with a 4th and goal from the 4, it's difficult to imagine that Hamilton is gonna run the ball here. I would expect they'll throw it, and odds are they'll probably target the guy who's been their top player, Krasilik. He's lined up farthest from the line of scrimmage on the wide side.
4th and 4 from the 4. Sosinski will roll out to his right in the flats. It's caught, but not enough for a touchdown. Nice play right there by the Wolves.
They might have got away with a
guess who
hold
made
there.
that tackle? Jere Mills.
Jere Mills
prevents
with
the touchdown from Kyler Burke, and a turnover on down for the Huskies.
I think there was a hold there on their intended receiver on a slant inside Krasilik, and so they had to go to the second read on that throw, and a really nice defensive play by the defensive player of the game to this point.
So now Chandler will take over 1st and 10 from their own 1. And really no adversity, no field position, no nothing has gotten away from the Wolves of being able to make plays, and that was not seen more evident than the last time with the ball, facing a 3 and out and ultimately coming up with an 80-plus yard touchdown. And the Wolves will call timeout. Didn't like something before they started this drive.
Yeah, as we said earlier in this half, Hamilton can't afford to come away with empty trips. So you're taking 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes off the clock on a drive to get 0 points and come up that close is got to be demoralizing when you're down 29 points. You need 4 touchdowns to even have a chance in this game. And the odds of that,
very, very slim.
Given the fact that they have half of that through 3 quarters, it's a monumental task.
And you look ahead now as both of these teams have gone through this, really the last game of the middle of the season gauntlet. You see Chandler play Valor Christian, then Mountain Point, and then now Hamilton. And you saw Hamilton go up against Liberty, then Mountain Point, and now Chandler. Mountain Point also going through somewhat of a gauntlet as well. This is the end of it, and all 3 of those teams will come away most likely, if things hold true, which they should, with 1 loss.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see both of these teams run the table the rest of the way.
And now you've seen all 3 in person. Who do you think is the best of these 3?
Mountain Point is probably the toughest to stop because of the way that they run the football. They have a dual-headed monster threat with 2 backs that are really good behind a capable offensive line. And so physically, they're really hard to stop. I think Chandler is probably the second best team. But Chandler and Mountain Point, it's very close. Hamilton doesn't necessarily have the offensive diversity, the offensive line, or enough talent on the defensive side athletically to probably hang with those teams on a consistent basis. Now, having said that, in any one game, anything can happen because they're capable, and especially if they get a lead and they're able to wear on you in that way. But the way this game started for Hamilton, it was just going to be a very, very tough thing to overcome.
And they really shot themselves in the foot early in this game because their first play from scrimmage was a holding call, which made it 1st and long, and they end up going 3 and out. Then on the punt, there's a face mask call, which moves Chandler up, and then Chandler then scores in 2 plays. So Hamilton really put themselves against it right from the start, and they've never been able to get above the quicksand.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jared.
A penalty puts Chandler back half the distance, 2nd and 7. Chase Lucas scampers up for maybe about an extra 3, which is going to make it about 3rd and short for the Wolves here deep in their own territory.
At this point, Chandler's, I'm sure, going to be content to just run clock. There's no reason to take unnecessary shots given the score of this game. It's all about just maximizing the ability to wind that thing down. Having said that, on 3rd and 6, deep in their own territory, they may throw on this play, but it'll be an anomaly moving forward.
Back to throw Perkins from his own end zone, has time. Now flushed out. He was going to keep it himself and just run out of bounds across the 10-yard line, which will be short of a 1st down. It'll be close. He went out of bounds around the 10-yard line. He'll be about a yard short. So it'll be 4th and 1.
Yeah, he may have been able to dive for that, but stayed on his feet, which is understandable. Chandler brings his punt team out.
For just the 2nd time tonight.
Right. I mean, that's another remarkable stat. How many teams don't have to punt the ball more than once a half on average on the road at Hamilton?
So back to receive the punt at the Chandler 45 is Kyler Burke, and so there might be too many men on the field. A delay of game is going to be called on the Wolves. So that'll move them back a little bit further.
So they'll be punting from near the back of their end zone now. Got to make sure that he doesn't step out.
It looks like the Huskies going to bring the house. Burke standing at about the Wolves' 40. High snap over his head. That's going to be a safety on Chandler, and really the only mistake they've played this game.
That might not be a bad result because now you're going to get to kick it off with a lot more space. The odds in that scenario for punting from the back of your end zone, Hamilton would have had great field possession and been able to go down and score a touchdown. So in the grand scheme of things, giving up 2 points there may not be a bad thing given the differential in field position after the ensuing kickoff.
So then after the safety, that makes it now 43-16, Chandler on top, and the Wolves will kick it away to Hamilton with 10:13 left in the fourth quarter. Jared Cohen and Chris Cartman here on the call from Hamilton High School, which has been a one-sided affair for pretty much the start all the way through here with 10:13 left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and it's still going to be a near impossible task for Hamilton. They're going to have to score quickly every time that they get the football, and they're not necessarily built for that, but they know it. And they were able to move the ball quickly on several of the most recent possessions.
Quicker for them.
For them, certainly, 2 to 3 minute drives down the field. So we'll see if they can do something like that again. And
so set to punt it away are the Wolves. Kyler Burke back to receive. It's going to be caught at about the 40-yard line. Going to be good field position. And that ball's loose. Isaiah Swan is the one that makes the tackle, and then it's recovered by the Wolves. So the safety ends up working out really well if you're the Chandler Wolves.
And if it wasn't already over, now it certainly is, Jared, with the ability for Chandler to just run more clock at midfield, given the huge disparity on the scoreboard at this stage.
The senior, Johnny Bailey, was the one that received the punt off the safety. He had the ball stripped by Isaiah Swan, and then he recovers it in Hamilton territory. It'll be 1st and 10 Wolves from the 47-yard line of Hamilton with 10:04 left. 43-16, the Wolves lead it. And Perkins will have trips to the right, one to his left. And he'll throw it in the flats to Colby Taylor, who picks up some speed, gains about maybe 6 to 8 on the play.
Yeah, that's a throw, but that's almost like a run replacement for a lot of teams, the way they look at it. Just a little quick high percentage screen. They probably connect on that 9 times out of 10.
So he gains 7 on the play out to the 41-yard line. Trips again this time to the left of Perkins, one to the right. Reed. Perkins keeps it himself. Solid gain to the 25, still on his feet as he gets to the sidelines and out of bounds, which brings the Chandler fans to their feet. More than enough for a first down into the Hamilton red zone with 9.5 left in this game.
An inside QB draw off a read option look, I should say. And that's another play that's reminiscent of former Chandler quarterback, current UCLA star Brett Hundley. Looked very much like that in the UCLA playbook.
Keeping with the 4 receiver set with 3 to the left of Perkins. Over the seam, it's caught by Justin Jan. 4th touchdown of the game for Jan.
That's just a little play where they had a play fake. They slipped Jan over the middle of the field. Hamilton responded poorly. It's basically several things can happen on that play. Either it could be a handoff. There's a read on it, and that component, he can pull it and throw the ball. That's exactly what Perkins did on that play. Over the middle, Jan was wide open.
And extra point is good for Lubbock. 50-16.
This is a bloodbath that won't soon be forgotten here at Hamilton. It's not only going to end a 10-year streak of home wins, but it's in resounding fashion. probably the most impressive regular season performance I've seen from a team, not just this year, but in recent years from Hamilton. On the offensive side, they've been just sensational. Chandler, pardon me, Chandler. And Bryce Perkins has really been at the center of that performance. He's looked great. The evolution, Jared, of Bryce Perkins as a quarterback in the last couple years has been just really tremendous. He's gone from a guy that I didn't know if he would be a quarterback at the next level to develop his skill set to a point where he's able to fully take advantage of the athleticism that he has, and now he's a no-brainer.
And he puts in the time in the film room, too, off the field. I mean, this is a guy that, the coaching staff requires their quarterbacks to be in at lunch a certain amount of times per week. And he has gotten it done and learned in the film room, which will also have him prepared for the next level of play. But how about this, Chris? This was supposed to be a week of incredible matchups, with this one, with Queen Creek and Saguaro, with Centennial and Deer Valley, and all of them have been blowouts. You also have the Tukey Bowl between Mountain Point and Desert Vista, which might have been expected to be a blowout, but Queen Creek, last I checked, was trailing 28-12 to Saguaro. 28-12.
It just shows the unpredictability of high school football. If these two teams play again in the playoffs, we may have a different outcome, but you really have to give it to Chandler for the preparation. The play calling has been very good. Their offensive execution has been excellent. Their skill players have blocked. They've been really crisp with their route running and playmaking. It's been just an absolute breathtaking performance offensively for the Wolves.
One game that is still in action in Division I that is very close down the stretch. Boulder Creek, who has got an undefeated season rolling, is up 4 against Sandra Day O'Connor in the fourth quarter, so that'll be one to keep an eye on.
And what does this game do, Jared, for the evolution of this rivalry? As we talked about earlier, you've had Hamilton was dominant for so many years, didn't lose. More recently, it's been a little more competitive. Chandler's won, and now Chandler's looking to sort of sustain that. Maybe Chandler could even go on a little bit of a run, given its talent level, and they have some young guys who are quite good.
It could be a type of win that transforms the mindset of a program to get over a hump that they have never been able to achieve. And this could be the moment that people can look back as the turning point for this program.
Yeah, if there was a stigma about playing against Hamilton or some sort of a mind block, that's really over at this point. The incomplete pass as Hamilton's trying to go down the field. Ball's a little bit underthrown there. Ian Anderson, and he just couldn't come up with it. So now Hamilton actually is going to have a 3rd and 15. 9:03 left on the clock in the fourth quarter. They're certainly going to have to go for it regardless on 4th. Smartly called draw play. Goes for about 12 yards up the middle. Hamilton's got a 4th and short now. They're taking too long, though, figuring out what they're going to do on their next play. It just goes back to the fact that Hamilton really isn't equipped to move fastly in the way that Chandler can. "30 seconds have bled off the clock here as Hamilton comes up to the line of scrimmage. Roll out by Sosinski. Underthrown. Turnover on downs. That was intended for Ernesto Mauricio, but it was at his feet. No chance of it being complete. Chandler's going to take over, and they're inside of Hamilton's territory with 8:12 left in the game and a 50-16 stranglehold over Hamilton. Hamilton's defense is already on the field. Chandler's taking some time with its coaching staff now coming out. Going to be able to bleed quite a bit more time off the clock, although last possession they were very aggressive at striking and did so quite easily. Once again, Perkins play action pass to John. Complete. He stays in bounds smartly, just inside the boundary. Another run pass option for Chandler. Hamilton's having a hard time reading the play, knowing what's coming. It's a lot of stress on their secondary in particular. First and 10 here at the 28 of Hamilton. Clock now under 8 minutes. Shotgun, Perkins. Swing pass is complete. And now it gets cut upfield to about the 20-yard line, which will bring up a 2nd and 2 as Chandler is once again in the red zone. Wow. Touchdown. Just pouring it on at this point. Had an option to hand it off and kept it. Almost untouched, scamper into the end zone for Perkins. Tremendous play. The sidelines here at Hamilton are dejected. There's been some fans that have been streaming out, and now even more so. PAT is no good, but it hardly matters, as Chandler's up 56-16 on another touchdown. Almost too many to count in this game. Just a breathtaking, remarkable, and perhaps unprecedented performance by a visitor on this Hamilton Husky field.
56-16.
Wow.
So now you look, where do these teams go from here? Hamilton up next. We'll take on Basha on the road. Basha, the new quarterback, an impressive-looking one in Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, they got some emerging talent and not a bad football team. And don't sleep on Basha, especially Hamilton coming off of this game, the ability to use this as a blueprint for future opponents. I mean, I don't think Basha's going to look at the film of this and be like, wow, that Hamilton team is going to be too tough for us. They're going to feel encouraged by the potential.
And you look on the other side of the ball, the Chandler Wolves, who now will, after this one, move to 5-1 and really could be in the driver's seat for the rest of this season to run the table if they keep playing like this. They got Gilbert at home next week. Back-to-back games on the road against Perry and Basha. Basha won't be an easy one for the same reasons as we just mentioned. And then a surprising Highland team who has the leading rusher in the state through the first half of the season, and Josh Chadwick to close things out on Halloween. But
unless they just absolutely fall apart in a game, I really don't see Chandler losing. The best football teams in the state that I've seen this year are Chandler, Mountain Point, and Saguaro.
Back to throw is, and it's complete. Checking into the game now is Travis Lockhart at quarterback, and he made the completion right there to Chip Hansen, the senior, with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
And now both teams are a lot of substitutions. Got reserves on the field all over the place. Some younger players are probably trying to show the coaches a little something out
this
there.
This is your opportunity.
And really just kind of playing out the string here in a decided game.
Lockhart the throw. No, he'll hand it off. That's Burke.
Not really sure why you show that when you're down by 40 points.
40 points.
Late in the fourth quarter. That's something you really want to save for when you need it.
But it gets them enough for a first down. Oh, no, enough for a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, about the only guy who's maybe not feeling so good about his performance today is the Chandler kicker. He's had 4 missed PATs. Not that that really matters either.
And there's a nice run right there for Johnny Bailey, who gets enough for a Hamilton first down. How does Hamilton regroup to get back to what they do best after a performance like this?
I'm sure the coaches are gonna stress the importance of not shooting yourself in the foot, penalties, making sure that their assignment sound at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. They don't have the offensive line they've had in the past, Jared, so that means you have less margin for error with a lot of those blocks. You have to execute at a very high level, and we haven't seen that here. So they're going to have to really work on getting back to fundamentals, being assignment sound, not having penalties, not turning the football over. And they have enough talent where if they're able to do those things, they can go on and win the remainder of their schedule, put themselves in a good position to see one of these teams, Chandler or perhaps Mountain Point, again in the playoffs.
Looking double pass. That time is Bailey once again. Instead, he keeps it himself and gains about 3 yards as we're about 6 minutes left in this one.
And, don't, by any stretch, do not count out Hamilton from regrouping. We've seen...
You never can.
We've seen seasons where one team will dominate another in the regular season, and then in the playoffs, the opposite will happen. We've even seen it in a championship game that Hamilton participated in, where it was on the other side, where it dominated a team and then was dominated thoroughly in a championship game at University of Phoenix Stadium a couple years ago. So you never know what's going to happen, but certainly they're going to have to play at a much higher level from an execution standpoint in order to put themselves in the position for a deep playoff run in a big championship caliber team this year.
Lockhart's pass incomplete. It's 4th down for the Huskies. And I'm guessing they'll go for it here with nothing to lose with 5.5 minutes left. No, they'll punt it on a 4th and 6. Terrell Flanagan is back to receive as Brandon Krasilik in to boot it away. 5.5 left, 56-16. Chandler on top, almost blocked right there. And on the punt, there's a flag down.
So the ball there hit a player.
It hit a Chandler player, and Hamilton covered it.
Hamilton recovered it.
Pretty big mental lapse right there that, despite this great game from the Wolves, the coaching staff won't like.
Calling illegal touching. Chandler looked to have a 12 men on the field issue there.
So with 5:23 left, 56-16, Hamilton with one of their longest plays of the game, essentially, as a result of a mistake from Chandler. So it's 1st and 10 from the Chandler 22. Lockhart will hand the ball off. That's Bailey.
A nice run by Bailey. A nice little play, but you got a depleted Chandler second team out there, and it's not something that's really indicative of the game whatsoever. And I'm going to be very fascinated to see what happens in the playoffs this year, Jared, given what we've seen from this three-headed monster of Hamilton, Chandler, and Mountain Point to this point. I'm not sure it's quite predictable, but I will say that if I had to rank these teams at this point, I would probably put Hamilton behind the other two.
And that's coming off one of their best wins that they've had
Yes.
in 2 years, knocking off Mountain Point 30-10 in what was a pretty dominant performance.
Yeah, they can do it, but the thing is that they have a little bit less margin for error. What they did against Mountain Point was they were a little bit more successful at stopping the run and limiting Mountain Point, because Mountain Point doesn't have a passing game. But and so that's a limiting factor. I think in the grand scheme of things, Chandler has the most versatility on the offensive side of the ball, and that's what makes them the best team. They've had a young defense.
Yes.
And so that's their challenge, but now those guys are starting to grow up, and we saw tonight a lot of plays made by some of those guys against good athletes from Hamilton.
4 minutes left in this one. They hand the ball off. The Huskies do, and 3-yard touchdown right there for the Huskies. A 3-yard run from Noah Gacky, the junior, who goes in for 6 to make it 56-22. And the Hamilton fans showing some pride despite the disappointing game. They still go to their feet with the fight song.
Yeah, great. They have a great home crowd here. Like I said earlier, it's one of the best in the state for sure. It's just a remarkable game. I don't think, given the fact that Mountain Point ran the ball so well against Chandler and was able to beat them pretty good, 42 points, I believe, in the first half alone, 200-yard rushers in that game. And then given what Hamilton did to Mountain Point, you didn't necessarily think that this game would be like this, and yet it has been. And it just goes to show you the unpredictability and the fact that really anything can happen on a given day, even amongst teams that are really good.
So Pitts catches the 2-point conversion for Hamilton to make the score 56-24 with just under 4 minutes left in this one. And Chandler will get the ball back and most likely try to run the clock out.
They'll probably go for an onside kick. I mean, why not? Nope.
And the kick is away. Danny Mahan will receive it at about the 5-yard line. Running up the field to about the 30-yard line with 3:50 left to play.
Not quick enough getting into where he needed to be there to break that one.
Most likely not trying to.
Yeah, it just, seemed to be kind of going through the motions there on the kickoff return team. Playing out this last 4 minutes of Chandler blowout victory here on the road.
And it'll probably be a heavy dose of running plays, as coming in at quarterback now is Tahad Pretlow, who hands the ball off to Micah Reed Campos, his second carry of the game, a minimal game.
Looks like an undersized, relatively athletic, mobile quarterback, backup option.
Stands up about 5'10", 155. Normally the third-string quarterback, Mason Moran, the starting safety, normally the backup quarterback for the Wolves, but he's done for the night. And Pretlow will keep it himself this time. Powers forward to about the 39-yard line, just short of a Wolves first down, make it 3rd and short with 3 minutes to play, and the Wolves up 56-24.
Yeah, we say look like a mobile guy, and there he goes. with the carry.
So 3rd and 1, and they'll basically be able to put this one away if they can get this first down. And there's the first down.
So that moves the chains. We'll probably get 3 more run plays. And that'll be near the end of it.
I'm going to put this one to bed. It's been a rout essentially from the beginning, as Chandler made a big statement right from the start, scoring essentially on their first handful of plays in this game, and a nice run right there. And in the latter moments of this game, Anthony Clay, the running back, showing his coaching staff that he's going to go hard no matter what. A solid gain on first down.
Yeah, some of these guys, I mean, even if the game is a blowout, some of these guys are getting an opportunity to play for the first time, and it's on a big stage. I mean, you probably have 5,000 to 7,000 people out here tonight, Jared, and a lot of them have stuck around. So these guys still want to, some of them still want to show well for themselves.
And a flag is down on that run. Looks in the direction of holding with 1:40 left, and the score 56-24.
Yeah, that one's coming back. Second and long. I'm sure they'll just run again, though. And they do. As we near a minute left, with Chandler facing a 3rd and about 13. Taking their time. Getting the call from the sideline. Still 15 on the play clock. Snap comes at 6 seconds on the play clock. It's a run around the edge for a pretty decent gain of about 8 yards. Bring up 4th down for Chandler.
And that will most likely allow them to run a pull.
There's going to be about 12 seconds left on the clock after this 4th down play. There'll be a change of possession.
Player of the game, Jeray Mills or Justin Jan? Who are you giving it to? Or even Bryce Perkins could be thrown into that mix.
Yeah, I would probably say Justin John, just given the offensive explosion of Chandler and what he was able to do in the game. But all 3 of those guys played remarkably well. You couldn't really make a bad decision between those 3. And from an execution standpoint, really outstanding. I thought Chandler was extremely well prepared. They had a great game plan. They executed their game plan at a high level. Their athletes made a lot of plays in space. Their blocking on the perimeter was good. It was just an extremely well-rounded, efficient, and physically impressive performance.
And this will most likely be the last play of the game. Under center, Lockhart will hand the ball off. Oh, he's going to throw deep. A flag is down. He's going to throw deep on the last play, and it'll be incomplete. A flag is down. The penalty is on the Huskies, and it is declined. That'll do it. The final. A 64-game home winning streak is snapped here at Hamilton High School as the Huskies fall to the Wolves of Chandler 56-24 in one of the more remarkable performances you will see out of a high school team in this state. Again, that's Chris Cartman. My name is Jared Cohen. Thanks for tuning in with us on Sports360AZ.com. We'll have the Wolves against the Gilbert Tigers on the site next week, so make sure you tune in for that. Until then, that's Chris. I'm Jared. Again, the final 56-24. Chandler knocks off Hamilton.